I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. What I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
Attention! Enforcers!
Yes, Lord, number one militia infantry.
Let the games begin.
Welcome, beloveds. Do you know why you are here? Well, you are here because you have forgotten who you are. You have traded in your true power for false power, for illusions of grandeur. You have allowed your divine power source to be sucked dry by spiritual vampires and leeches, and thus have jeopardized the soul of the world. Sons and daughters, today that all ends. I have selected you because you are very valuable to the revolution. You can't even begin to fathom your worth. You have adopted your oppressor's views of yourself. Since birth, you have been taught to hate everything that you are. You will even fight to protect your oppressor's rule over your mind. And this is why you must be reborn. You have forgotten your rightful place in the hierarchy of the realms. But fear not, beloveds. I am here to remind you of who you are and whose you are. And who am I, you ask? Well, I am a rap god.
I am a rap god. I'm so pro-black, I got black cars. And I spin them black stars. I'm a black star, I'm a rap god. I am a rap god. Do not confuse me with rap hoes. I am the genuine article. I'll make these niggas uncomfortable. I'll make you rewrite your verses. Make you repurpose your purpose. Search for your worth in the curtains ain't personal. I'm murking everything lurking. These dudes butt hurt like they gassy. You ain't got to gas me. I got the laxatives for the untalented. Shitting on artists over campuses. Now you can sell it, pay me the damages. I made you feel insecure. Made you change the lineup on your tour. Now you want to set up the score, but you never learn how to rap, only whore. Give me any beat, I'ma bring the heat. Any time signature in any key. Every BPM I come to eat. Ain't no rapper versatile as me. I am a rap god. I'm so pro-black, I got black cars. And I spin them in black stars. I'm a black star, I'm a rap god. I am a rap god. Do not confuse me with rap hoes. I am the genuine article. I make these rich niggas uncomfortable. I am a rap god. I'm so pro-black, I got black hoes. And I spin them in black stars. I'm a black star, I'm a rap god. I am a rap god. Do not confuse me with rap hoes. I am the genuine article. I make these rich niggas uncomfortable. I'm eclipsing my idols. Coming for all of your titles. Don't be nice now, turn the lights down. Slow dancing with my rifle. I catch bodies like coroners, look into my cornea. Every time I see you, you the corniest. Later smell like food like a foreigner. And I'm about to eat till it ain't no more of ya. I'm humble, don't get it twisted. I'm burning incense, don't think you can't get it. I fall back cause I know you need attention. Cut the check, I don't even need a mention. Got it on your daddy's pension. I got it from precedents. 17 to presidencies. Queen team, more wanna hear about your business. See you sniffing, premeditated like a written. So the smitten, wanna catch me slipping, you can slip in. I am the furnace, my lips are just the kitchen. Screw these rappers on the Barbie with the fire, I be spitting. Listen, came through dripping. I am the cause and cure of your addiction. Multifaceted with a blasted clip. Oh, you savages, I'm ravaging. I'm a rap god, I'm a track star. Run circles where you act stars, you are not a fact. I'm a rap god. I'm so pro-black, I got black hoes. And I spin them in black stars. I'm a black star, I'm a rap god. I am a rap god. Do not confuse me with rap hoes. I am the genuine article. I make these rich niggas uncomfortable.
You all are quite influential in your respective fields, and that is why you've been selected. You all have the power to change the world for the better. But you have become individualist, capitalist, colonists, more concerned with your personal gain than the collective well-being of your community. And thus, your future dies at your own hands because you want to be a part of the circus. If your ancestors could see you now, the next time you holler all black everything, make sure you include your mind. Know thyself. You must know your history to understand your present, and still the future will be aligned by your consciousness. You are more than your bodies, more than your talent, more than a minstrel show. You are more valuable than you know. The world owes your ancestors a great debt. But you have adopted the mantra of your colonizers, profit over people. It's the very same mantra that enslaved and subjugated your ancestors. You see, white supremacy cannot thrive without our participation in it. And now is your chance to take your power back. Think of how important you must be. Think about how much time has been spent plotting on your downfall. There has been a great deal of hard work and organization, finance put into holding you back, making sure that you did not know who you were and whose you were. But now you must know. And yet, knowing is not enough. You must do something. Your transformation begins now. Now you are reborn. You are becoming who you are truly meant to be. Embrace yourselves as the royal divine beings of light you are. Move forth in the world with a renewed purpose, ready to do the work.
I'm putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. Putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. Putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. Putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. I'm from the seed of blackness. Check out the lean in my stature. I'm certified seen with binoculars. You can never find another queen that could capture. From the temples to the ghetto slums, get them enraptured. I'm a trailblazer. I'm a hellraiser. I'm already major. I don't need no favors. I got 7 black ass names to choke your tongue. Got a calling on my life that'll get you done. I'm deeply rooted. My scalp ain't never felt no perm. I'm darkly suited like I'm back from a case of germ. Black is the whole of your mama's universe where you was formed. The point of no return where field niggas are born. Branded by the scorn, lust the black body born. Massive brown babies scatter around like corn. Henrietta lacks E. Jean, what I'm on. We some super blacks, DC, be more. Stand up in the back, where you at, hardcore? Now get them on the floor, get them on the floor. Work, go ahead, work, get it, work, go ahead, work, get it, work. Putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. Putting work in till they close the curtain. Gon' go berserk then, giving them a hurtin'. I'm too saucy, bitch, get off me. You couldn't even deal with the shit this cost me. I was black back when black wasn't the trend. I was too black for you new blacks to let me in. You was scared I would say something that might offend. A little black is an accent, a lot of black is threatening. Most of y'all are too scared to be yourselves. You rather trade your freedom in for a comfortable self. And I get it, you work hard for the spot you got. Ain't trying to have no field nigga making the block hot. You surprised I'm still alive and better than ever. Shining like new money, still upsetting the setup. Queen of culture, bringing disease to you vultures. Watching me like a pin-up poster. Copying my C's like a counterfeit sculpture. But that God frequency just a dripping off of. I'm doing law, high priestess of these bars. I'm a quadruple threat, nebular superstar. I'm too big to stay in my lane. Murder you all, I'm staking my claim. I'm the hurricane avatar. This ain't the palatable black, manageable attack. Matter of fact, it's the Hannibal attack. Flammable yak in your back. This ain't that knee bent, can't take cloth accent for appeasement. This that chain shattering black, take a moment for bereavement.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Yes, indeed. What's up, world? Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like live here on Black Power Media. Again, I'm Jared Ball, joined by my brothers and comrades here, Kalonji Changa and Brother Kaba. Welcome. Good morning on this special Friday. What's up, fellas?
Yo,
what's good? What's good
this morning? Now that was a boom bap breakfast beginning right there.
Boy, look at here. If they don't go out and grab all of Maimouna Youssef's shit, we gonna have a problem. I'm
What's
talking
her
about
name? What's her name?
Mumu Fresh, Maimouna Youssef. Shut your bro Muklai.
She
Anyway,
said in the verse, I got what, 7 names that'll break your tongue or something
hey,
like that.
hey, it's all good. It's all good. She has I see people comparing her to like Beyonce and all types of folks. Man, listen, Mumu is Mumu, and you got to understand that. And I think that you really have to check her out live to get that full throttle. It is a spiritual experience. Allow me to say that. You know what I mean? Allow me to say.
How do they say it today? Facts.
Facts. What big facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the business, man. You know, she is the epitome of hip hop, of soul, of spirituality, of the Black woman. Period.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's true. There are no comparisons. I mean, and straight up, if you haven't already seen it right there, just in that sample, some new music that she's just released recently, then do indeed check out the rest of her catalog. And if you ever get a chance to see her live and have not, it's a world changing show. There are no comparisons. She is really in that category of kind of a rare, special kind of talent with a particular worldview and politics and background. It wouldn't be fair to the others to compare her. And for me, she's living proof that the industry is a setup job.
Yep.
I mean, she's my number one example.
Yep. If you're gonna come to any comparison, if you want to try to draw one, the closest one you're going to get to is like a Lauryn Hill.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Who could sing and rhyme. I mean, and not just they just sing or she raps or she sing. No, she's like among the top tier in both of those.
But I even think that's unfair. And all respect to El Boogie, whose show I've seen.
That's why I say the closest. I didn't say.
I've seen El Boogie live I multiple times. I got all respect due.
Yeah,
but it's not the same. I mean, I think Maimouna's voice is superior.
Oh yeah.
Her lyrical skills, I think, if not superior, right there with El Boogie. And the only and when I'm doing my actual assessments for top fives, etc., And I don't do male, female MCs. I've never understood why that's necessary. I mean, this isn't a physical. It's not. I've never understood. In just MCs, period. The only reason I don't have El Boogie or Maimouna higher than I would is just an extent of catalog. Like there's just, once there's more, I think they'll beat it. I mean, because what's there, if you judge just what's there, I don't think there's anybody better lyrically, and I don't think there's anybody who can sing better than Maimouna.
I mean, round for round, pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? If we was a tell of the tape, you know what I mean? She the truth. And I've been saying that for, man, at least a decade. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I've been in the presence of both. And like you said, politically, you know, and I love Lauren, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lauren. But politically, you know what I'm saying? I think Mumu is a whole nother, it's a different arena. It's like comparing what we do to what some of these other foods are doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to me, it's and I was feeling it just now. Like when if I hear Lauryn Hill, I want to nod my head. I want to, you know. But when I'm hearing what we just heard, I want to swing on something like that's, and that to me is the special difference. Like that's the little special sauce I look for. Like what? Like that's that boom bap that I certainly by the way, folks, we just talking about her. She is on her way. So just rest assured, and by the way, we may have some other special guests coming through this morning as well, because that's how we do. So you never know. So just stick around.
And anyway, to your point about her being indicative of what the music industry is, with her talent. It's funny you said that, because years ago and first of all, even before I say that, when you talk about the content, when you think about her and you think about people like Sarak, and they both are from this area, the DC area. That's right. Maimouna between DC and Baltimore. But they were raised on purpose. Like they came from families that were in the culture, that were in the movement, that were putting in work on the ground. So they saw this from Maimouna's mother sings, like her mother can sing.
Absolutely.
Her sister can sing.
As did her grandmother.
Heard about, and her grandmother. Anybody heard of Fertile Ground? That group. That's her sister.
I never knew that. So you mean what's her name? What's that? I can't even think. Navasha. That's her. Yeah, her physical sister.
That's her sister.
I never knew that. I never knew that. And,
so they're on purpose.
Wow. Yeah. I like to add on to that and say that I usually don't do this, but I would love to hear a Kaba Mumu song, because Kaba is a dope singer on the real.
People, yeah, we mess around on here, but if people ever go back to imixwhatilike.org, check out the mixtapes, the radio we used to do. Kaba was a regular on that, and I just don't bother you in these moments. I don't know why, actually. I don't have a good reason for it, but brother can sing. No doubt. Like no other. So
I never give.
I think that's a good idea.
This is a rare moment. I just started sipping my tea, so don't get it twisted. But on the real, you know what I'm saying, Kaba is definitely one of my favorite unsung artists. Absolutely. Because of the fact that just being on the road with him and Precise Science, Rising Power to our brother Rough Mike. You know what I'm saying? We'd always clown each other and all that type of stuff, but my man has a real soulful voice. You know what I'm saying? All the other shit he be talking, that has nothing to do with anything. But
I think I can say thank you. I think maybe
there's maybe in there partially.
It's the best you shall ever get.
I don't know.
In fact, I'm gonna suggest we edit that out when this video posts.
Hey, listen, just real quick. I see some of the folks in the chat. First of all, good morning to everybody, to the remixers who we are just holding it down. To the remix crew, fully convenes next Tuesday on our Monday. We see Big Pun is in there, Melanin, Rich, Nay, Anthony, Ricky Bryant is in the Franny French, Leah Boggs, what's up, sister Tahir, James Thompson.
Craig Bardo celebrated his birthday. He's good.
Right on, Big Craig.
Shout out to the cancers in the house.
I see Kevin Wilson says I'm bugging. I don't know exactly what for, but I know it's not for my musical assessment, because you just must not know. That must be you just must not know.
Kevin Wilson be popping off, man. What's up, Kev? What the deal?
He be popping off, man.
Things, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
by the way, somebody, I think Silberg asked, it may be a soccer jersey. It could work as a soccer jersey. It's a commemorative, Mexico 1968, Carlos and Smith.
Oh yeah,
Black Power joint.
Okay.
I think you can see it a little bit. And what came in the mail yesterday with speaking of not wanting to give people credit.
Yeah, we should drop kick that dude because I don't know how you got yours before me. Then he gonna text me this morning and talk about something. Yeah, I need.
And you know why I'm hating? I'm hating because first of all, I didn't want to have to give you credit for this. I was mad as hell when I got because my shirt came in the mail yesterday with something else that came in the mail that I just want to pull up here because I can't. The physical copy I left downstairs. I can't grab it at this moment, but came with this right here. With this great book written in at least 3 languages, Dhoruba bin Wahad Political Writings. And in there, I'm flipping through it. I don't see my name, all the interviews I done did with the brother. I don't see all these other people, but who do I see up in there? Kalanji Mumfang is up in there. And I'm in there, I'm reading this thing like, you got to be kidding me, man. You have got to be. I was about to throw the book out the window, man.
Hey, man, listen, man. For all the headaches, the gray hairs, the motherfucking hairs literally smashed in my back. You know what I'm saying?
You earned that. You earned that.
The 67 feet that's trying to step on me and shit. Literally, I think I should. I don't even know. I haven't even seen the book. So I don't even know. Is it an interview or something?
It's an interview. It's a discussion you all had, and then there's at least one other piece in there that was, I think, a reprint from the Still Black, Still Strong, and a couple of others. I didn't get a chance to really look through it, but I thought it was beautiful that it's in multiple languages, and it looks nice to see a book of Dhoruba and his work in print. So I just got it late last night, so I didn't get a chance to really get into it, and of course I left it downstairs. So
check it. He just texted me while Maimouna was playing, and he was like, I said, I'm about to go live with Jared. So he said, you about to go live with Jared? Man, I said whatever back in the day. He said we could have got a crib together when I was in Atlanta. I said, I ain't about to go live with Jared live, man, live. So shout out to Dhoruba.
I mean, you could do worse. I'm just saying. I don't know why he had to react like that. You could do worse. I'm just saying. That's messed up.
His born date is in 5 days. I believe he's going to be 76 years old.
Shout out to Teen Cancer. We in the building, baby. Teen Cancer. Lord. This is the best sign on the zodiac, in my unbiased opinion. I'm just saying.
Claude have mercy.
Patrice Lumumba.
Not Lord, Claude.
Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Ture, Dhoruba bin Wahad. I mean, we getting off, man. We getting off.
Okay.
Hey, why you messing around? If is June 21st in that group? Does that count in it? So you got to put my pops Leonard Ball in that group too. Then how about that? How about that?
Well, how about June 13th?
That's why he was raised right. That's why you was
June 13th. Good?
Well, yeah. Anyway, we just saved that. But yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to my daughter who just had a born date as well.
Oh man, talk about surviving parenthood.
My eldest daughter. You know what I'm saying? Who thinks that y'all show sucks. But anyway.
Well, see y'all, Kalanji's daughter is proof that he can do something right. See there? He can do something right.
Don't be that way, brother.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
I saw in the chat that people said that I just read the chat, I think from last week, and they were like, Kalanji and Kaba getting together. That'll be pure comedy. So
man, it is what you asked for.
So listen, just real quick. Speaking of which, what Kaba, what went down on the program Monday, and what's coming up on the show for you next Monday? While we got a quick minute before Maimouna shows up.
What did happen? Oh, I had Dr. Yeli on there. Dr. Yeli was on there, and she was talking about a number of things. She talked about modernity. She talked about Juneteenth, and we just talked about the spiritual aspects of war. Because there's a lot of folks in the spiritual community that get so ethereal and off into the clouds and don't realize that, in order to win a battle, you're gonna have to fight. You can pray, that's fine. We with all of that. But at the same time, we're gonna have to fight. The Haitian Revolution, they started out, they did a powerful African ceremony before the revolution, and then they went and kicked some ass. And the same thing with Nat Turner's rebellion. You know, they also had, and many of the rebellions that you'll see, there was a spiritual component. So it was spiritual and physical. So you get spiritual, but as you know, Big Daddy Kane said, I get physical, mystical, very artistical.
God. Okay.
That's how we do here on Benton Media.
Shout out to BDK.
Bars.
And shout out to my man Balogun, because that's one of the things we talk about African martial arts system. A Balogun is the particular system, is the component. And I think that the spiritual aspects, that's one of the things we talk about all the time. You got cats that come with the physical, the brute force. You got cats who think they can outthink their way out this shit. Listen, your spiritual side is really what drives your ass. You know what I'm saying? It is me. I mean, with me, my entire life, cats be like, man, you all small, you be talking big shit. I'm like, listen, man, a bullet is small. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a whole cyanide is small. It only take a little bit to get a whole lot done. The Cuban Revolution wasn't won by some giant force up on a hillside or whatever. It was.
Man, you see pictures of them cats, man.
Yeah.
It's
real
just
deal.
Walk right off the farm, right out the whatever, and pick what up. That's it. Yeah.
And that's what, you know, what we talk about. You know, it's.
You saying Fidel and them wasn't over there doing Pilates and
hey man, listen, man,
bench presses,
no vegan water, no alkaline water. You know what I'm saying? No vegan lollipops, flip flops, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? You got a hoe, let a hoe be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and clear the land with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about, man. I guess that's why I get so upset, man. Shout out to Cornell West. I think that convo yesterday was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was good that he was willing to engage us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen different comments. Some people talking about we were too hard on him, but for those,
but it was also some other stuff though. I heard and saw a couple of the other side where where we were honoring his willingness to come on with us, but I also saw some pushback on us for being even willing to bring him on.
Yeah, right. But
anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
but you know, I think with what y'all demonstrate, I think it was nice balance. I think you got to push. What people are not used to seeing journalism anymore. I should just stop right there. They're not used to seeing journalism, period. Because what happens is you have access journalists where they just want to cozy up to these people so they can get them on their show. You know, because closeness to them, having somebody on their show it'll kind of buffer up their bona fide, and it's like, okay, yeah, I had so and so on the show. I can remember years ago I was doing this morning program. It was a talk show program, and I was asking some tough questions to this one person, and the program director came to me and was like, "Hey man, you got to ease up on the guests, man, because we want to have them back. If you keep doing that, then we're gonna have a reputation for asking a tough question." I said just what I just said. I said, so you're saying we're gonna have a reputation for doing journalism?
Right. And that's the thing. And I think that we have to understand too, man. Listen, man, I am not interested in a cult of personality. I'm not interested in kissing nobody's ass. This is about our ancestors. This is about revolution. It's about our ancestors, future, past, and present. So all the other shit, I don't care about how you feel about nothing, because of the fact that if we're hard on our guests, imagine how these crackers are. You understand what I'm saying? So, fuck all that. If you want a nice tenderoni type interview, whatever, check out Tabitha Smiley or DL Hughley or some of them clowns. You know what I'm saying? And get with that. Over here at Black Power Media, yeah, Black Power is serious. Don't get it twisted, because we ain't throwing our fists up yelling Black Power every few minutes that we ain't about that life. You know what I mean? So
I throw my fist up every few minutes to say Black Power. So Black Power.
That's good. Look, he came with the wristband as well. Oh, he got a new wristband.
And the RBG Fit
and Club. And he came to RBG Fit Club.
Oh my goodness.
Now all he gotta do is get fit.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Shout out to Stick. Let me tell him to come get that shirt back.
You better check some of my Instagrams.
I was gonna say I saw some of the
you better check the IG. You better recognize. I'm ready.
Hey, real quick before I forget, because just in case anybody doesn't know, when we talk about Kaba's show, Jazz and Justice African Deep Thought Edition, you can get that at WPFW.org if you don't hear it live on Monday afternoons. he is kind enough to not schedule in conflict with anything on this platform, so we appreciate him. So you can go ahead and jump on over there, wpfw.org, if you ever want to listen to the live stream or get the archive. But anyway, and we are, and folks, you know, there are a couple of things that I think we can that we had set up to talk about this morning. As we prepare and wait for Sister Maimouna to get here, and then again, we may even have another special guest might even pop on through, but you know, you never know. But anyway, one other thing, at least for me on this Cornel West piece, is that I thought, for me though, I thought it was important in this sort of reverse question. To me, he is politically as right wing as I basically am willing to accept in my sort of I don't know, discussion. That's the range. Anyway, that's the rightward edge that I would like to see us set politically. That for me, Cornel West is, and I don't mean this in any way to be disrespectful to him. To me, he is a conservative. He is like the farthest right I think we should find acceptable. And then everything politically should emanate leftward of him. So for me, I think not only in terms of who he is, and I think he's earned the I think it's funny to say it this way. I think he's earned the right to be invited here and engage us, and to be and to show us what I think should be considered the rightward edge of our politics. Yeah. Anyway.
I agree, because we've been very accepting, and our invitation has been broad. You know what I mean? We've had everybody from, you know, here at Black Power Media, from a Cornel West to a Cynthia McKinney, to a Pam Africa, a Killer Mike. You know what I'm saying? All of these people have been on the platform. So we're open to a great extent to, you know, to speak to African people. You know what I mean? And others, because of the fact that we've had, what's my man name we just had on the morning show?
John Potash.
John Potash. I'm the one invited.
Well, I get accused. You know, I get joked. I think I'm the one on our channel that gets joked because I will have a white guest from time to time. So you know, I've had, you know, Dr. Lawrence Ball, no relation. Mark Blythe. These are economists that we've had on. You know, anyway, but I mean, so I'm the one that gets joked for having the as CBS says, the whites on the show. But in terms of the African world set of politics, I mean, I do think, I mean, I know it's, again, I think it sounds funny when I'm saying it, but I do think Cornel West is someone that has earned the right to come on here. And I think I mean, you know, I meant it when I put it out on Twitter yesterday that I really, you know, I've seen, obviously we've all seen him in interviews and speeches, et cetera, for years. I honestly cannot remember seeing him in an interview like the one we had yesterday.
To my point, because he doesn't get pushed. He doesn't get pushed the way he got pushed yesterday.
And he's not usually talking to people who know the history and who have actually read his work. See, that's the other thing. A lot of people that know Cornel West or know Michael Eric Dyson or these other folks, they know them for what they see on TV. Or wherever, but they actually haven't read their work, and they haven't read the work of people that they talk about. So I know that, like, for a lot of reasons, it was different for him to be in that space with us yesterday. And again, I don't recall ever seeing anything like that. Yeah,
the closest thing I seen was the joint that when he was on Donahue with the Ruba.
Oh wow!
Who else was that?
I don't even remember. You're taking it back to Donahue.
Donahue. It's interpreting integrity.
That's right.
Hostility for integrity, and I'm going to do it whether you like it or not, or something like that. He said, "I remember that, man. That's
the Ruba.
Cam used that in a song. The rapper Cam from West. What was that song he used?
He used the Ruba piece, or
he used that piece. He used that piece from Donahue.
And Sister Soldier was on it as well. Sister Soldier, the Ruba, because they were tag teaming. I think Cornell. I think it was Cornell, Daruba. Who else? I think Tony Brown for Tony Brown's Journal.
Wow.
A few other people. It was a loaded joint. It was probably one of my favorite Donahues. And that's one thing. You know, and I don't want to necessarily shout out Phil Donahue, but back then, those shows, having the Khaleds on it, the Minister Farrakhan's and all that, you know, he was one of the first mainstream folks. Of course, we had the Gil Nobles, who was, you know, the godfather of our joint, and the Tony Journals and all that. But that's the kind of if we're talking about bringing on any type of journalism, that's the type of shit we want to bring. We want to come hardcore because of the fact that first and foremost, you know, we're freedom fighters. You know what I'm saying? I don't consider myself a journalist. You know what I mean? I just happen to, you know, boom, have a platform. I state my opinions and whatever I learn, share it and keep it moving. You know what I mean? All the other shit, you know, trying to get a prize or award, you know, fuck all that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get free. So that's what we do.
Hey, no question. I mean, that's why, you know, philosophically, and again, I always think it's great when for me, it's a perfect scenario of sorts that when I was embattled, shall we say, in graduate school, in the journalism PhD program at Maryland, I got consigned to a graduate student office just to be kept away from everybody. And there was that stack of communications theory journals that were being literally set to be thrown into the trash. And then one of them was this I think, to me, the game-changing article for me by Hemant Shah about emancipatory journalism. And I whittle it down and simplify it to simply say that you have to acknowledge yourself in an anti-colonial struggle and practice journalism and media production in league with people in that struggle as part of the mechanism or process to end that relationship. So that's how I see myself as engaged in this kind of work. So it means, you know, be principled, be honest, do your research, do good work, but you throw away this concept of objectivity and deep, you know, engage fully in your anti-colonial bias, you know, wrap yourself in it and get busy. So that's how I see it as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say shout out to all the folks who, you know, who do this work. When I say I'm not a journalist, quote unquote, there are people who actually, you know, that's their shit. That's what they do. I respect people for whatever their craft is if they're serious about their thing. You know what I mean? So that's just what I'm saying. It's not to knock anyone and how they get down. I'm just saying how I define myself. You know what I mean? So, you know,
well, in the spirit of our relationship, Kalonji, I'll agree with you. You're not a journalist.
Hey, I'm gonna let that slide for now, but I will return. Oh, by the way, Cowboy, I got a nice photo I just designed for you. My man.
Lord, here we go. You next.
Be advised.
Look, I ain't in it, man. We friends.
What you mean?
Man.
What you mean, brother?
We supposed to be brothers.
Hey, listen, can we real quick? I believe Maimouna is going to be joining us in not too long from now. But in the interim, there were a couple other things that if we could, I wanted to just throw out there that we can at least start on and maybe come back to later, or just even finish up. One of them is really very simple, which I just couldn't help. I am fully in my Schadenfreude enjoyment of this story that came out the other day about everybody's favorite liberal media, speaking of journalists, superhero, Rachel Maddow, and the story that came out that was getting reported, at least in some areas, that MSNBC admits that Rachel Maddow is not a real source of information. And if people remember, a couple of years ago, this was forced and to be admitted by Fox News in regards to Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't know or remember the exact legal statute that they're leaning on here, but it's basically that if it can be shown that you are prone to exaggeration, you move away from science, away from data, away from sourcing, away from accuracy, to put it another way, that you have to be deemed as entertainment and not as journalism, and not as a news source so that the whatever what is probably still wrapped up in FCC regulations for broadcasting isn't violated, because I think even though Obama before he left office signed in that national defense authorization that the United States government can now legally propagandize its own community, where that had previously been technically illegal, at least, you still have to acknowledge when someone is being presented as a news source that they're either not one or need to be redefined as entertainment. So Though I have not watched MSNBC in a long time, and I haven't watched her show in years. In fact, I haven't watched her show since Obama got elected. I just thought that this was so funny. You know, she's almost unavoidable. She pops up even in pop cultural spaces and movies and whatnot. People love to throw her around in her Oxford degree as a legitimate intelligence source of information. And I just thought this story was hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah, we need something like that for the movement. You know what I'm saying? Say, these motherfuckers are strictly entertainment, and please do not take anything they say seriously whatsoever. All the fashionable militancy, you know what I'm saying, and you know, the empty rhetoric, you know, is bogus, and we do not condone that. So we need something like that. Really.
And I think too, in addition to that, I do think that there needs to be more political education, and that people just need to be, because the reason why these things continue to happen is because people continue to fall for them, you know. And it's like, I was just talking about a particular person that y'all talk about a lot, and I ain't gonna even mention their name. But the first time I saw him,
come out.
I said I'm gonna mention. Shots fired, boy. Don't be absent.
That's his fault. That's why you think I'm always here.
If you
and I still get it. And I show up every morning. I still
do it happen if you don't come.
but we were talking, and I was just amazed, because I said the first time I saw this dude talk, you know, like 10 years ago actually, at a program, I said, and he had the crowd whipped up, and people like, oh my God, he was saying all this wild stuff. And I'm like, I'm looking around like, y'all are buying this? And these are people who should have known better, you know? And I just was like, wow, you know, I was just, and now the person is exposed himself as being just totally off the rails. I'm pretty much, anybody who knows probably know what I'm talking about. But now people are kind of seeing, I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like this dude, something ain't right.
But you were a hater. It's because the same cat.
If I don't like it, I don't like it. It don't mean that I'm hating.
I've shared the stage with this dude like 5 different times. You know what I'm saying? I was cool when he was in his first bag. You know what I'm saying? These are the earlier days, Jared. Don't
my bad. Okay, now
I'm
late. I'm just now figuring this out. Okay, my
last time was like 2015, and I was just like, the cat who asked me to host every other, because it was a whole group of people, every other speaker, he's like, man, please don't say nothing, man. Please don't. He already know I was gonna say something off the wall. And sure enough, in traditional Kalanji, sometimes my mind and my mouth disagree on things. And they're like, you know what? My mouth like, you know what? Fuck that. Yabba dabba do. It's out there now, buddy. He's sitting there with a lollipop in his mouth. Literally steps on stage with a lollipop in his mouth. And it's like, you know, I really thought that was funny because, you know, where I'm from, man, there's a whole nother program. But anyway.
I mean, there's
nobody's scared of a dude with a lollipop in his mouth.
Hey, look, I grew up in that same era, even in a different location, and honestly, it's the same pre-programming. My initial reaction was the same, and even if there's some retrograde reactionariness to that, I admit it. I had the same. I was like, really?
Yeah. How tough can you be? But anyway,
wow. Yeah. No, see, my only slight difference, and this actually relates to what I also wanted to quickly show. And shout out to this dude Baruch, who I believe is in Germany at this point, who put me on to this dude. So I'm not. Let me just say right now, I'm not fully co-signing this dude, but I just I like this clip from what he was saying in response to this is a vlogger out of Hong Kong, I believe. And he is saying something here about the PressTV shutdown that we talked about yesterday on the Remix Morning Show, where the U.S. federal government shut down the Iranian news outlet PressTV, again, speaking of journalism. And I agree, Ricky Ryan, MSNBC, if I saw what you said correctly, MSNBC, Lawrence, first of all these commercial people are Rachel mad out of me. All of them, you know, are the same. I just think it's funny when they are exposed or have to call themselves out as such. But anyway, I just want to play this a short clip of what this guy is saying here about the United States global propaganda and a little bit of the context for why PressTV's website, apparently, again, it wasn't just blocked. I mean, it was globally taken down. I mean, not just from the United States, like the whole world has been blocked from going to this website. But let me just you know what? Let me reshare to make sure I'm doing this right. Let me just share this little clip from what this guy is saying, because I think it's pretty interesting and relevant to what we're talking about just here.
But what America did here was far beyond what China does in terms of just blocking websites. Not only did they prevent Americans from being able to view these news outlets, they took it away from the entire planet. They're controlling the entire global narrative. The same thing they're trying to say that China is trying to do, they're actually doing themselves. So, you know, this story, there's actually so many levels of irony to this story. And so let's just dig right into another really, really big one. Remember when they said they had to block it because it was propaganda and interfering with America? Well, unlike the news agencies that they took down, America actually operates news agencies with the very specific goal of interfering with the politics of foreign countries. That's an agency called USAGM. It owns outlets like Radio Free Asia and Voice of America. And unlike many non-Western state-owned media outlets, they don't need to put on their Twitter pages or YouTube pages that they are a state-run media outlet, despite the fact that they operate even with the specific goal of spreading propaganda and destabilizing countries. You know, and as far back as 1977, the New York Times admitted that Radio Free Asia was a weapon in a worldwide propaganda network built by the CIA. In the same article, they showed that Radio Free Asia was a propaganda weapon created 2 years after China's communist revolution to destabilize and overthrow its government. They have these channels in multiple languages for multiple countries of target, depending on the U.S. foreign policy at that point in time. So let's together listen to what Ben Sherman has to say about USAGM in a USAGM event last year.
The soft power of the United States costs almost nothing compared to our military forces and doesn't endanger our servicemen and women. That's why we prohibit these organizations from communicating with the American people, because there could be some effect on our elections.
It's a soft.
So that was really the entire video, and I'll make the link available in the description to our discussion here. But the for me, and why I think it fits nicely what we were even just talking about, is that one, and this Kaaba is why I try to approach criticism of some of these folks and responses to these folks a little differently. So for me, it's not that I'm saying, well, people, when we hear certain speakers or certain presentations, why some are more willing to buy or accept the story, it's that so much effort is put into preparing and laying the groundwork for people like that to be successful, that it's almost, I see it as I'm almost shocked when we aren't tricked by bad messaging or bad actors with good presentation, because this is just one piece of, again, a centuries old at this point trillions of dollars have been spent in the research, in the development, in the preparation for determining how best to target audiences with particular messages, to deploy certain forms of even speakers. We've even talked previously about George Creel and the Creel Commission to prepare this country to go to World War I, sending speakers all around. That was part of the tactic, was to put people who could give the Minutemen, as they were called, talking about the opposite of those old context jokes, like it's never going to be a 1 minute man. but in this case, they were saying it's good to be a 1 minute man because you could break down a propagandized message quickly in 1 minute and have it reach the audience effectively, who had already been prepared to receive that message by this kind of propaganda, or as they describe here, soft power, which they recognize and have for a long time is much more inexpensive and ultimately more effective than military weaponry. So that's the only thing, so when we do see these speakers that you all were talking about, or anyone else, or some messaging, or some Maddow, or some MSNBC, the reason why they're so successful, one reason at least, is because the groundwork has been laid for such a long time in preparing us to welcome these messages and these views and these perspectives, and to be positively in a certain way moved by them when we hear them repackaged and presented by people we may disagree with, but who are talented spokespeople.
Right.
So,
and they come in all, from all sides.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You can catch them on the quote unquote left. You can catch them on a quote unquote militant side of things or whatever. Right. We're dealing with the state, and the state is a master of propaganda. You know what I mean? And again, that's why, I hate to, pull the truck horn. That's why a Black power media is necessary, because of the fact that we have to combat, literally combat these positions, or we will, go to hell in a handbasket. Shout out to Shirley. She said that dude looked like a young Jared Ball with hair.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Tried
funny.
to bomb on you, God.
That's funny. She did a little bit, and it is unfortunately sad. I did have more of an afro.
Okay. Not an escrow.
And I did. I'm saying more than this guy.
Up on your own,
it was a little more like that than this guy. But I did have a little bit more of that melanin working at the time too, so it's a little unfortunate, So that's why you got to be a strong and self-confident in your remaining beauty to come out here with all this absence of hair and melanin that I've had to suffer. Mother Nature, boy, she hooked me up in some respects, but she has been punishing me over these last couple decades. So, anyway, listen, I think our special guest has popped in the building. And I will say, again, shout out to her. We and everybody. Well, one thing I was going to say is, I hope people saw Dr. Sundiata Chajuwa and his interview yesterday with my man, Dr. Scott Brown. Shout out to the Africana Studies and Research Center at Cornell, where I met Dr. Brown, where he put me on to the power and the depth of the funk and its relationship to African people, and in particular his work around the US organization, giving an honest assessment, a fair assessment and critique of that group in history, but also his work in support in the book he put out a couple years ago on Dr. James Turner. But he said something in that interview that I thought I would bring into our discussion today with our next guest, who I think unfortunately we'll have to accept that we saw plenty of her in that introductory video, because I think she's only joining us by phone this morning. But so we'll unfortunately have to suffer that as we excitedly welcome her to the platform. But one thing that Dr. Brown said in that interview that resonated in preparation leading up to today was that he said one thing that would be, he said facetiously, a novel act for those of us who want to interview and learn from artists and musicians is to talk to musicians about music. He said, just simply talk to them about music and you'll see. So let's endeavor to do that and bring her up now. We've given her plenty of an introduction. I shouldn't say that. We've given her an introduction so far. Go ahead, Kalaji. It's not been plenty. It's not been sufficient, but we have introduced her. But go ahead.
I think that we might be slightly confusing the guests.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think this guest right here, I want to say, you know what? Reset that. You're right. I didn't even see what was happening. Button real quick.
Reset button. We got all these special things happening. My bad, man. Go ahead and fix this.
So today is a very special day, right? Brothers and sisters, remixers and renegades and all those good people out there. Today's a special day. Today would have been the 19th born date.
That's right.
Of Tamir Rice. You know what I'm saying? Who we all know whose life was cut down by a piece of shit, you know what I'm saying? A police officer out in the Cleveland area. You know what I mean? So we wanted to commemorate his born date. So I said, you know what? There's a lot of things going on around Tamir Rice. And we know a lot of people been trying to hijack his name, his legacy, so on and so forth. So I reached out to a good sister who happened to knew Tamir Rice better than any of us on this planet has known him. So we want to welcome to you our sister Samaria Rice, who is in the building today with us. What's happening?
Indeed. Good morning. Welcome. Let me unmute you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hey, what's happening? How you feeling today?
I'm okay. I'm just a little tired.
A little tired.
There's a big rally going on later this
Listen,
afternoon.
yeah, man. I wanna thank you because of the fact that today is one of the most special days of your life. Becoming a mother, right? And that motherhood is like one of the most, as a father, it's one of the most beautiful things that we can have going on. And here it is, you showing up on the 19th born date of your son, who the world got to know in a different way. So we want to welcome you to I Mix What I Like in Black Power Media.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No doubt. So
Thank
we wanted to rap with you. Yeah, we wanted to rap with you. We know it's been a lot of bullshit going on. Folks trying to paint you in all kinds of directions or whatever, and a lot of folks who have been standing by, allowing certain things to be said and happen and not coming to your defense. So we at Black Power Media, as you know, we don't fuck around. We wanted to make sure that, we hear from you straight up, unadulterated. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on right now, because there's a IG post that was circulating, and we haven't heard from you. We just heard from the post and the commentary.
Yeah. So I've been in the media probably for the last 6 months off and on because I had called out the movement for what it was, what it is, and certain celebrity activists has benefited off of the death of our children, with having different platforms that was created off of the death of our children. So Shaun King was one of the people that I called out as well, along with some others. And basically, I have been trying to get in contact with Shaun King ever since 2015, when he sent a $60,000 check to the estate of Tamir Rice. I did not even know this man. My attorney called me one day, my first set of attorneys, because I would do 3 sets of attorneys. My first set of attorneys called me and say, hey, this man wants to donate this $60,000 check. And I'm going to put it in the estate of Tamir Rice. And I'm like, well, who is the man? And he said his name was Shaun King, and I didn't know who he was. So that was the only money that we received from him at that time. And that money went into the estate, and the attorneys, my first set of attorneys that I ended up firing, actually the judge approved for them to get paid before the case was even closed. So out of that $60,000, it had to be split between me and Tamir's dad at the time. I only received like $15,000 out of that. But what I'm saying is, I tried to reach out to him 5 years ago, and I've been trying to reach out to him just to have a conversation with him, to see what was going on. Why do he feel that he has to do fundraisers and not involve me or ask my permission and things like that, as he stated. So going forward, we have the Tamir Campaign Justice, and some of my team was in a conversation with some of them law grassroots people, and come to find out that the law grassroots people was co-founded by Shaun King. So at that time, my justice campaign team wanted to get on the phone call with the Law Grassroots Project, and they wanted to put Shaun King on the phone as well, and asked me, was I willing to get on the call? At this point, I'm like, yeah, because I've been trying to reach out to him for 5 years. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him, period, as he continued to say my son's name in the media. You have not contacted me, direct. So we had that conversation, and it was just a conversation. I never agreed to anything. he got on there and basically said he would never do this and he would never do that. And he had worked with many families and helped many families, over 100,000. And he said that he prayed for me and his family and stuff like that. At that point, it just sounded like a cop and donut conversation. And then he proceeded to say he raised an additional $60,000 and then another $30,000. I told him I was not aware of it. I have not received not one penny of it. And he also said that he wanted to try to build up trust and build trust and to see how they can help going forward. And that was it. That was just a conversation. I never agreed to anything. So I don't know why he felt that he had to go out and broadcast that we had a conversation. What was the conversation that I had been asking you for 5 years and you decided to want to talk to me 6 days ago? So again, I just don't, he never got my permission to put none of the conversation out, anything. He just did it on his own. We didn't know he was doing, he just did it. So at that point, again, you know, Shaun King cannot be in my eyes. As you say, you trying to build a relationship and trust, and you turn around and do all of this for clout, but you didn't make sure it was okay. And doing all of this during my son's birthday week is very disrespectful, self-centered, and selfish of him. And I'm not a woman. I'm not going to keep fighting with this man. He's a white man. I don't have time for this. So, at the end,
your phone.
Yeah,
I had
right.
to make sure, huh?
Your sound just dropped. Yeah, you just dropped off a little bit. It's
Hold
better
on.
now, though. Okay. Folks, we are talking with Miss Samaria Rice.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's a little bit much better.
Huh?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Cool. So you saying that basically, you know, you feel like you've been fighting this man
I can't
alone.
really hear y'all. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. I can't really hear y'all, but if y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear us? Okay.
Can you hear us now? Yeah. So basically we got that you were in a fight. You're fighting with this guy. You feel like you're fighting him one-on-one. Can you hear us clearly, or?
I'd probably need to log back in. Can I log back in?
Yeah,
I can't.
Of course.
Let me log back. Let me log back.
Okay.
Cool. So we're live with Samaria Rice, who we actually found out was going to be on the call maybe about an hour ago. You know what I mean? We tried to get on Renegade Culture yesterday, but we had some difficulties. So she said,
by the way,
yeah,
just so we're clear. So and thank you for catching that, because I was not seeing, you know, the text, everything's happening pretty quick. So I wasn't sure if that was, I thought that was Maimouna coming on.
Yeah.
We still do expect her to come on shortly. And just so folks know that we do also have a special live Last Open Intellectual at 7 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock will be Renegade Culture. But it does look like Miss Rice is back. Are you able to hear us at all?
Yeah, I can hear y'all better.
Perfect.
I don't know what happened. I had to log back in. Okay.
Hey,
no problem.
Shaun King probably had the phone tap. blaming on his ass. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, last part you were saying that basically you feel like you've been fighting this situation alone, and to a great extent you've been taken advantage of being a woman, feeling like you're on your own. Can you speak to that again? I mean, you know, just for clarity.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, Shaun King is a white man, and I don't have time to keep fighting no man. I am a woman, and you know, when I'm steady doing the work in the community, and I don't have the support of the Black man or the community to back me up, and some folks are standing with me, but you know, he needs to be shut down. Like, who is allowing him to keep talking to Black women like that, and a mother on top of that, and all during my son's birthday week, and this is the day that Derek Chauvin gets sentenced. So I don't know what kind of stunts that Shaun King, you know, is trying to pull, you know. Folks is aware that he has helped the George Floyd family and the Breonna Taylor family. But that's just a few families out of millions of families that has been, murdered by state-sanctioned violence and things like that. So I just don't understand, how do he get to keep talking to me like that? And somebody ain't checked him and set him down. I mean, he has basically been given the Frederick Douglass North Star. Frederick Douglass was a black man. I don't know how they allowed a white man to get it. So again, it's a lot of discrepancies with Shaun, and I'm just seeing it over the airwaves over the years that I happen to see him. I don't follow him. He was following us on the Tamir Rice Foundation page. Shaun King has donated like $5,000 to a donor account that I had. So altogether, over the last 7 years, we probably seen maybe $20,000 from Shaun King, as he admitted to raising money, additional money, and telling me that he felt that he didn't want to bother me.
I want to say this real quick, because of the fact that there are different people that will be listening and watching, and some folks may say, you may put your opinion out there. I want to say this again. This is a situation where you are a mother, right? And for those of you who have children, you must understand. Look at your child and put yourself in her shoes. It's not a situation where it's just like, I can draw an opinion, or I believe this, or I think that. You know what I'm saying? If it was you in that situation and you're talking about your child, the child that you birthed and raised, you know what I mean, his entire life, literally, how would you feel in this situation? You know what I'm saying? I think that folks like Shaun King, to a great extent, they may do some good work as far as putting out the information, but you cannot get paid off of our people's tragedies and demise. You know what I'm saying? You cannot just come out here and control the narrative. These are families of victims. With us, we don't believe in being a quote unquote victim-led movement, because of the fact that I know that if something happened to me, I have certain uncles and cousins and whatnot that really can't speak for me. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the mother of a child who lost her child. You know what I mean? So we invite the Shaun Kings and whoever else, step up and speak up. Don't hide behind your Twitter account. If you got anything to say, we welcome you here as well. You know what I'm saying? But be prepared to be dealt with. It's not a situation where we just gonna kiss your ass, because that ain't how we get down here to Black.
Well, just quickly, Kalonji on that one. Go ahead, Miss Rice. Go ahead. Sure.
So it's a difference between losing my child and how my son was lynched and assassinated.
That's right.
And that's where a lot of my I'm angry, mad that that this country has destroyed my life. So again, I've been put in a position of leadership, and that's what I'm going to do. And my son is not no hustle. It's not about the money at the end of the day. It's the principles about how do you think that you can sit here and raise money for my son, and you haven't even talked to me to see how I'm feeling. And he has brothers and sisters that's feeling a certain type of way, because they're on social media. They're young adults. They're seeing what's going on. And again, it's just very disrespectful of him to think that he can raise money in anybody's child name or do anything with anybody's child and not talk to the family, the parent, the mother, the father, and talking about, you didn't want to bother me. I'm confused about you didn't want to bother me. So it took you 5 years after I reached out to you multiple times. I invited you to both of Tamir's events that I had that we raised money for, So again, it's not like I have not tried to contact him on a personal end and tried to have a conversation with him. again, he was being dragged in the media so much. I guess he didn't want to talk to me at those times when I was trying to reach out to him, but he decided, like I said, he wanted to talk 6 days ago, and I've been reaching out to him for 5 years, a little over 5 years. So
and he wanted to promote it basically because, like you said, Tamir's birthday is the day, so it's like, okay, let me reach out now and act like we got everything iced or whatever. And
we never agreed to go for it to work together about anything. It was just a conversation that we had, and I explained all of my discrepancies and everything in that conversation. And I didn't know that he recorded it or anything. They didn't tell me anything. So if it can't,
he put up a recording.
I think he recorded the Zoom meeting, and if it is recorded, he should go ahead and allow it to play, because that the truth will be told in the meeting. The truth will be told in the meeting, and we're putting out a press release, so look forward to that as well. We'll probably put it out later today. It's just a shame. That's all I can really say.
It seems pretty clear that I haven't followed it too closely, but over the years I paid attention a little bit to Shaun and Kalonji. You can speak for yourself on that one. Years ago, I invited him to my radio show to ask him about some of his projects and some of the boycott movements and stuff that he was claiming that he was going to be leading and stuff like that, and to lay out his argument about some of these claims about even before this issue with Tamir Rice. Claims against his abuse of people's struggles and money, et cetera, and so forth. And he never responded. So at this point, I'm not interested in hearing from him, at least not here. I'm much more interested in hearing from people like Miss Rice, because what it seems to me is that his initial payment, so to speak, of $60,000 to the foundation was almost like a fee that he was willing to suffer for the ability to make much more money trading on the name and on that struggle and the attention that he would get from it. So it seems like that might be the method here, the process of reaching out to people with a check, using his networks and his to raise, and then that gives him some sort of protection to be the spokesperson, whether or not he's actually dealing with the families or. But one question I had in addition, so please, Ms. Rice, if anything I've said there you want to challenge or correct, please do. But I also wanted to.
And now unite with what you're saying. Let me just say that me getting him on here would be to tell him to go fuck himself. And call him a bunch of punk motherfuckers. But I digress. Go ahead.
But I was wanting to know if there was anything in particular. Well, two things, Miss Rice. Is there anything in particular that Shaun King or others are saying on behalf of you or your son that in particular that you wouldn't want said? And then sort of separately, is there something that you do want to see those of us out here who are legitimately interested in movements and struggles and issues surrounding the lynching of your son, as you I think accurately put it, would want would want to do? So in other words, is Shaun doing something that you don't want him doing on behalf of your name other than not talking to you? And is there something on the other end that you would like to see us doing who are actually not the King, the Shaun King types, but actual people interested in this kind of struggle?
I want Shaun King to stop talking about my mental illness, me lashing out because I'm in pain and stuff like that. That's not it. I'm just a person that's gonna stand up for myself. And if standing up for myself mean cussing you out, checking you in a whole different way, that's what it is. I come from the streets. You should have read The Cut. Read The Cut, Shaun. I come from the streets. I'm a gangster. So if that means that I have to cuss you out and disrespect you in a whole different way, that's what I'm going to do. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you if you think that you could continue to keep benefiting off of Black children's death, Black families' death, period. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have no mental illness. I don't have nothing wrong with me. If anything, if I do have a mental illness, it's because my son was murdered by this country. and that's validated. But I can't have that much of a mental illness being very successful, purchasing a building, getting it Tamir Rice Foundation up and going, and at Tamir Rice Afro Central Culture Center. I'm doing the work that you should be doing, Shaun, investing in the community. So I don't understand why people keep talking about something wrong with you, or she just lashing out. Go direct the pain to the people that hurt you. They're all misinformed, and it's just inappropriate for him to kind of comment on there. He's not a psychologist. He's not a doctor. And how dare he comment on my wellness and things like that. He's not really that concerned because he keep doing it. And why he keeps saying, oh, I will never do this and I will never do this. Well, you did it. And you did it. And there's nothing in the world to make me see otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a person that's going to stand. I'm a person that's going to stand up for myself, my family, and my children. And that's just what it is. And I'm not going to let nobody take advantage of me, try to manipulate me, or try to think that I'm going to be a sellout for you. I'm not going to be no sellout for you. I am the epiphany of what Black liberation is.
Hey, let me tell you
something. The only problem she has is the illness we all got around here. We all got that dreptomania. We all dreptomaniacs around
I was just about to say that. You pulled the Cornell West and jacked my shit before I got to say it. But the only mental illness you would have if you stand back and let these motherfuckers take advantage of you.
That's right.
And for the record, you can stop saying that Black men don't have your back, because here at Black Power Media, the FTP movement, the Siafu movement, we got your back. And just know, Mr. King, whatever, all that shit you talking, whatever, it's a no-fly zone around these parts. Don't come around here with that bullshit because of the fact that we ain't having it. You would not be disrespecting Tamir's legacy or any other young brother, sister, old brother, whatever, sister who has been, murdered by the state because of the fact that you'll be part and parcel. And we consider that shit ancestral treason. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot just go out and just make money. I mean, that's like fucking grave robbers. That's straight up grave robbery right there. You know what I'm saying? How can you sleep benefiting off the death of someone else and not even speak to the family? I mean, that's some cold shit. Who the fuck do you think you are? That is some cold shit. That's like something happens. We just lost one of our co-hosts, Baba Abdus. That's like us doing shit in his name without consulting his family. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where you come from with that, dude? You know what I mean? Me personally, there's been people, well, he ain't white, he black. I don't know what the fuck color you are, but it's straight disrespectful. Let me just say that. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to answer to that shit, man. That's the reality of it. And it's somewhere, somehow, you got to explain, how this shit is going down, man, because that shit is not cool, homie.
You know what I wanted to do, Kalanji and Jahar, is as I seen some of the militant men across the country, some of them showed up at Derek Chauvin's house. Some of them showed up down there in, I believe, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, I'm not saying, everybody, because I don't know what goes on in detail with the militant community, but I'm to the point where I'm just ready to go to people's houses, like Shaun King, Timothy Loman, the murderer of my child, and Frank Grambach, the murderer of my child, along with the governor. Like, I'm to the point where I think, some of the protests and rallies need to be in front of these people's houses to make their communities and make them very uncomfortable. I'm about making people uncomfortable. I give zero fucks about their tears, what they got to say or anything. If I can't sleep at night, they shouldn't be able to sleep at night either.
Hey, that sounds fair to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, we're gonna stay in tune with you.
I don't have a lot of time, y'all, so it's
all good. Miss Rice, real quick, we did have one question that's a little bit different. In all the talk of your name and of course your son, one question that we have from our audience that I thought would be interesting to ask you quickly is there anything you would want to say or are interested in sharing with us about the origins of your name, Samaria and Tamir?
Well, our names are biblical names. My name was a biblical name out of the Bible. It's the land of Samaria. A lot of people pronounce it Samaria. It's pronounced 3 ways: Samaria, Samaria, and Samaria, which I go by Samaria. And Tamir and Tajay, they're Arabic names, which I didn't know. I just liked the names and I named them. And as they were growing up in some of my Arabic community, they was like, "Did you know those was Arabic names?" I'm like, "No, I just named them." So I come to find out. But today is Tamir's birthday, and we have a rally for him in downtown Cleveland and also in DC today. And I'm gonna just try to honor him and let the community honor him that he was born and raised in. And also, Tamir will have a virtual reality concert July 25th. You all could check those things out on the website at www.tamirericefoundation.org, and also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Tamir Rice Foundation.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on his born date. This is huge for all of us because of the fact that we have tremendous respect for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? Rise in power, Tamir. We're gonna make sure we keep that name alive in the right way. For the foundation, how can folks support? Is that the same website or what?
Yeah, www.tamirericefoundation.org. You all can look on the website, and it's a lot of ways that you can get involved and support. Request me to come speak or send me emails. There's also a donation button on there as well.
No doubt. We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We with you.
Thank you very much. Right. Take good care.
Okay.
No doubt.
Peace.
Take it over, Jared. This is your show. I forgot.
All right. Yeah. No. We appreciate that, and I appreciate you checking me because I wasn't sure. I did not have the right guess at that time, so I appreciate you inviting Miss Rice and making that happen. And we encourage folks to support her and her continued work. That said, we do, as promised, we have talked about her, played some of her music, and encouraged people to catch up with her. I'm very happy and excited as always to return to our program or programming, and I guess a first appearance here to this particular platform.
The new queen of hip hop soul.
She should have already been. I mean, she should have already been understood as that. But if it has to be new or newly appointed, that's fine.
For the new jacks, we giving it to them. We already knew time.
But let's welcome her to the screen. The rap god herself, Maimouna Youssef, Mumu Fresh. Sister, welcome. Peace. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And thanks for turning the camera on. We appreciate that.
Y'all gave me some time to get myself up. I was like, it's going to be a struggle this morning. We had a listening party last night in Miami, and I'm not a night person at all.
Oh man,
I'm not a night person. So it was a struggle. I way past my bedtime.
Yeah, I heard that.
You sound like us, particularly Jared's old self. You know what I'm saying? But
I've been like this my whole life.
Oh man.
When I was a teenager, I was like, wait, how late we gonna be out? I gotta go to bed.
Man, listen.
But my bad. But please forgive me. I must have. I clearly missed the invitation because I guess me and Kalanji was supposed to be in Miami last night. So I apologize that
we're gonna do them all over the country though.
Okay. Let us know when you come to ATL. We need a Black Power Media sponsored release party, man. What you think about
I'm with it. Let's do it. You know, I'm actually gonna be performing in Atlanta for the Reggae in the Park August 15th. So maybe we can do something around that time when I'm in Atlanta.
That sounds good. Let's make it happen.
There it is.
Just in time for Garvey Day. Okay. Yeah.
So I do want to, as I said a minute ago, I do want to just make sure I get this part in because, you know, I mentioned it, Dr. Scott Brown in his interview last night with Sundiata Chajua made I thought a really interesting point about how to interview musicians. Being a musician and a scholar himself, he was saying that, you know, he thought it was a struggle. So many of us struggle apparently to just ask musicians about music. You know, so he was saying a novel idea, if you want to learn, you know, is to ask musicians about music. So I thought we would start there, and if we could talk with you, just so I just have a broad question. I do, you know, you refer to yourself as a musical healer, you and your family. We've talked about your mother and grandmother a little bit, and that tradition. But what is music to you, and what does it mean for you, and how do you approach what we broadly just describe as music?
Yeah. Well, I think my first introduction to music was it was about like connecting, about family, you know. It was how we communicate, how we express our love towards each other. You know, somebody will just we could just be having a conversation, and it'll be a word in the conversation that reminds us of a song or reminds us of a prayer or something like that. And then one person break out in song, and the next person start harmonizing. Somebody take the bottom note, the bass line note, somebody take, you know, and it becomes this whole orchestra, this whole choir. And we just laugh and sing, and it's not about if you sang the note right, if you was your own pitch. It was, you know, it was just this communication of love is how we it's just how we talk to each other, and then we all laugh at the end of it, you know, maybe while we cooking or somebody cleaning, you know, that is just how we expressed ourselves together. And because my mother had she joined the first resurrection with Honorable Elijah Muhammad, so she became Muslim when I was a kid. And so in the masjid, they did not allow me to sing. I would be put on punishment as a child for singing. So I would go into the bathroom so I could sing to myself, because they was interrupting, you know, my singing time. But you know, religion got a lot of weird things around music, and definitely music can be used to be harmful as well as a healing tool, right? They say that Shaitan was a musician and had a heart-shaped rib cage, and you know, he baits the people into doing the wrong deeds through music. And I mean, you see it all the time in the music industry that absolutely happens. It can be the soundtrack to your healing or your hell, right? But we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater if we know that it's equally as powerful to raise frequency, vibration, and I mean, literally heal ailments. Like we all know what sound, frequency, vibrations do. I mean, it's how dolphins and whales communicate. It's how you can see a baby inside of a woman's womb, right? That's just sound. So my grandmother was a choir director from Chicago. Well, she's from Mississippi, but you know, everybody from Mississippi moved up to Chicago in the Great Migration, right? And so I would go to her house in the summertime to learn gospel music. And then my grandmother had already converted to Islam too, because my mother told her she wouldn't eat in her house no more if she kept cooking pork. So, you know, and one of the, you know, food is very communal for us. That's the way we express love. So it's like, you don't come eat at my house. Like, we ain't even family no more if you don't eat at my house. So my grandmother converted to Islam as well, but we still go over there and sing gospel music. And I didn't know anything about the Bible, but everything I know from the Bible would be from those songs. And how I saw her. Oh man, my grandma was a contralto, really deep, rich voice, and she would sing into people's bodies, like, and take out arthritis or any kind of pains a person was having. Even like when you're going into labor, she'll sing over your, you know, whatever part you're having the most problems with, and it's like it will take the pain away. The people will be relieved, you know. Or she'll sing over her hands and then lay her hands over top of them, and then push all the energy in her body out through her hands into the other person's body. Or sometimes she absorbed their pain from her hands, right? And you got to sing it out of your body. Wow. So that's how I understood music. I ain't know nothing about a music business. You know, it wasn't until, maybe by the time I was like 10, 11, people kept telling my mother, like, she should go on Apollo, she should go on Star Search. And my mother wouldn't let me go on any of those things. She said, no, she should be a child. Those places are full of spiritual vultures, and they'll steal her soul, so she can't go. And when I went to high school, went to art school, you know, that was a trajectory. People who sang for the purpose of getting a record deal so that they could be in the music business. And I didn't understand that pathway, like, you know, because for a time I wasn't even necessarily, even though I was gigging, I did do shows. Like the first time my mother gave me one of her shows, I was 13 years old. She was supposed to do a show at the University of Maryland. She couldn't do it, so she gave it to me. Now, the way I had been performing was we incorporated Native music, African music, and because I'd already started rapping, I would throw some rap in there. But it was very much a cultural storytelling. You know, it wasn't nothing you see in the music business, right? And so they paid me, maybe I got like $500 when I was 13 to do this 30-minute show. And I was like, oh yeah, this is all right. I could do this. Right? This ain't a bad look right here. And, so I was already gigging, but I can't say that I was like dead set on being in the music industry. To me, it just seemed like very weird, a lot of weird stuff going on. I didn't know if I had the personality or really the heart to be able to deal with that kind of stuff. You know, I saw so many of my heroes lose their minds. And I'm like, what is it about that place that makes everybody lose their mind? Like, how come nobody makes it out alive? You know? So yeah, that's how I understood music. Music was about God, and not just in a religious way, but in a very metaphysical and physical way, in a multi-dimensional way, in altered reality way. You know, music is like a portal. It's a place that you can go that defies space and time and physical matter. You know.
You know, this is I mean, just listening to what you're saying from a spiritual perspective is so dope. You know what I mean? You already had, you know, you had attention. You know what I'm saying? But just coming with the whole spirituality thing, you kind of remind me of Sonny Patterson. You know what I'm saying?
I love Sonny. That's my sister.
That's my sister as well. So I guess we related. So so yeah, so it's just like there's such a beauty in and we talked about this earlier today, Jared, in just understanding the relationship between spirituality and revolution, right? As far as life itself, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. So it's refreshing to hear that particular component, especially what you're saying with your grandmother. You come from which I'm just learning. I didn't know that Navasha was your sister. You know what I'm saying?
Not my blood sister, but I've been around her for a long time.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, the good company, for lack of better words. The good family moves with it. You've been coming hard for years with so many different artists who, for all practical purposes, should have been opening up for you. You know what I mean? On some real shit. I mean, we were speaking a little bit earlier just on the balance with the hip hop, the soul, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, and a lot of, you know, we see a lot of artists, they might sing and rap, but one might overpower the other. You know what I'm saying? You might have some that rap better than they sing and some that sing better than they rap, but you have this equal balance. And you were compared earlier to Lauren. And I think that we all agreed that we love Lauren, but man, it's like, you know, I'm trying to figure out how not to sound like a groupie. I mean, your shit is like swole, man. We I mean, it needs to be out there. I did
want to ask you that. I mean, that's actually a question I wanted to ask you about, like, because I mean, I have more questions about music as well, but I mean, I you know, because the praise that you know, I have to, you know, turn the faucet off too. It would be effusive and endless. And I do want to know, like, how do you, when you hear it, I mean, because your performance is obviously like, duh. I mean, you ain't know, but in I guess quote unquote real life, when you hear that kind of praise, you know, I don't know, does it I don't know, does it encourage you? Do you feel like you need to hear it given your experiences in the world, or are you kind of like, you know?
I'm always flattered. I mean, it's great company to be in. I love Lauren. You know, she was like my idol growing up. I used to write down all her rap lyrics and, you know, try to figure out how she would put together something so genius. You know, when the score came out, I remember I was, I don't know, maybe I was like 10 years old, and we was driving to the Gullah Sea Islands, the Geechee Islands, to meet a woman named Mamfatou Sek. She was maybe 114 years old, and we was going down there to do a ceremony. It was like a gathering of nations with native tribes, elders from all over the world, from Australia and, you know, Alaska. And Mamfatou Sek, I feel like, I know she's from West Africa, but maybe like Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah, okay. You know my
peace, sister. Good morning to you. How you doing?
Peace, Baba. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah, so we was all
and
out
I didn't know that you. I thought that you and Navasha were actually blood sisters because y'all always said it so often.
Listen, people think she's my mother, and they think my mother's my grandmother. People always be saying to me, "I met your mother, Navasha." I'm like, "That's not my mom." Like, "Oh, she your sister." I'm like, I mean, we know each other a very long time. She like a sister to me.
Wow.
I probably know Navasha since I was 17.
Yeah, who are you talking about? Because somebody out here doesn't know who we're talking about. So let's clarify.
From Fertile Ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fertile Ground was a humongous group in Baltimore. Definitely a big influence and impact on me as a child. Her ex-husband James Collins, he was really like one of the first people between him and Raheem Devon who really, really taught me about how to be independent. He's the reason I started printing CDs, taking the Greyhound bus up and down the East Coast, putting CDs on consignment as a teenager.
Yeah.
I learned I designed the album cover, my first album cover when I was 17. I designed all the logos. I printed out t-shirts myself, rolled the paint on the t-shirts and took them store to store, putting all my merchandise on consignment. I was like 18 years old, but I learned that from James Collins. I saw what they was doing. I went out to a show. They actually, their open mic was like one of the first open mics my band ever performed at, Organic Soul Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And so, and even before, I don't even know if it was called, it was at Club Intellects. I wasn't even old enough to get in. I was over there like 14 years old, and they let me get into the club. And I was seeing Raheem Devon, and I'm seeing the impact he having on these people. They losing their mind, and he's selling CDs, and I'm observing the whole thing. Like, I said, how you do that? How you make a CD? So he told me the process. Okay, how you get this show book? How much they paying you? He like, hold on, little girl. I said, well, I'm just trying to figure this out because, I'm going to need to do this soon. So by that time, I probably was in high school about to graduate. And I was asking him because at the time, my grandmother had just passed away and my mother was taking it very, very hard. And my father just went to prison. And I knew I was in a very transitional period and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I said, I know I better start bringing in some money. And, my mother raised me to be an entrepreneur. So it wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, let me go get a job. I was like, all right, let me figure out how to monetize my gift. And so I started observing people who was already doing it and being like, how you do that? And then I learned all the tools. I got the software. I went over to my uncle's house who owned a print shop and he had some software already over there. And I just started studying under people. Teach me what you know. And I paid for the studio time. I got the band together. We rehearsed in my auntie's basement because I'm a person like, my father was very, very enterprising. I don't know if you remember, any of y'all lived in Baltimore in the 90s?
Nah.
Okay, wait. There used to be a bunch of barbershops called Mr. Cut. It was a franchise. My father owned that franchise. And he owned these banquet halls called the Sequoia Mansion in Bolton Hill. So anyway, I always saw and my mother was a singer. So I always saw them be very entrepreneurial and enterprising. So I was like, that's how I was thinking. I was like, all right, when it's my time to be an adult now, I got to be enterprising. I'm going to be a boss like my parents. Because everybody was gone pretty much. I ain't gonna say gone, but my dad was in jail. My mom was going through what she was going through. And so I knew I had to step up. So that's when I started being like, all right, how do I do this? How do I be on my own and not be in a position where I need anything from anybody? I need to be able to not only support myself, but be able to help my parents out too. So, and I graduated high school a year early because I skipped. So I was too young to even be an adult on my own, but I still was moving and thinking like that. By the time I think I was 18. I moved to Philadelphia. We got a record deal. We rented this brownstone. That's how I was already moving as a kid. But I was telling you something else about the score. You asked me about.
Right. It started with the score.
Yeah. So we drove all the way down to the Gullah Geechee Islands, right? The Geechee Islands to go to this ceremony. And we listened to the score the whole time. And as I was listening to it, I'm writing down what I hear because we listened to it 100 times. And I'm writing down all of this, trying to understand, break down her messaging and her music. One of my favorite verses was, man, Before I manifest the rhymes. You see, I love hard once, but the love wasn't returned. I found out the man I died for, he wasn't even concerned, and time returned. He tried to burn me like a perm, though my eyes saw the deception, my heart wouldn't let me learn from. Some dumb woman was I, and every time he lied, he would cry, and inside I died. My heart must have died 1,000 deaths, compared myself to Tony Braxton, thought I'd never catch my breath, nothing left. I felt this heart beating from my chest. I tried to call the cops, the type of thief you can't arrest. Like, I remember that from like a little kid. And so I was already like studying the Wu-Tang Clan. And then when I first heard Outkast, they just like blew my freaking mind. And it just put me on a trajectory. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna meet them. You know, the first tape I ever bought was Common, One Day to All Make Sense, and Resurrection. And then I bought, I think I bought the Black Star tape around that same time. And I wrote all their lyrics down. I was like, one day I'm gonna be on stage with them. And it's funny because I've performed with every last one. Only person I ain't performed with yet is Andre. But Big Boy, Lauryn Hill.
Well, what's Andre? Why is he tripping? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? What's the matter?
Probably somewhere in Cambodia.
Yeah, really.
He's done with all of this. He don't want to part.
You muted Kaba. Yeah. You muted. Well, he need to come out of retirement for that collabo. He was on the Tribe Called Quest final album. He could step out there again.
Maybe, inshallah.
Some
Me, him,
Fresh.
and Raphael Sadiq. That'll be it.
Oh wow.
Oh,
the new Lucy Pearl.
Yeah.
No, but no, I heard that he was pretty that he was like had a lot of anxiety around performing and stuff. I had read an article not like last week. I just because I was thinking about him and I was reading up.
A lot of great ones do, including Jimi Hendrix, who he portrayed.
Michael Jackson. I mean, who died? This is the anniversary of his death, by the way. Michael Jackson had anxiety.
Forgot about so Tamir Rice and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but I just want to say, Maimouna Youssef, as a fellow artist, I just want to say, on behalf of all artists on the planet, it is extremely unfair that you have the skills that you have as a singer to be a top tier singer. That's fine because Stevie's a top tier singer. Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Aretha Franklin, they were top tier singers. You know, we get that. We get that. But then all of a sudden, you had the nerve to be born.
the gall,
the unmitigated gall to be so lyrically. I mean, just skilled and be one of the top lyricists on the planet. I mean, that is not fair. I'm dead. I'm joking, but I'm serious. It's really.
And that's why I was saying, and there was some fool in the chat telling me I was crazy for saying you was that dope.
They just don't know.
I had to battle for that though. People don't understand. You know, like I had to battle for that spot. My brother's one of the best rappers on the planet, and you know he had a whole bunch of rules about what girls could and couldn't do. You know, and one of those things was girls couldn't sit on the front steps. You know, and we ain't had no AC inside. So it's like you try to suffocate us.
So you did that in the video. I remember one of your videos you had the whole front step scene. Hip-hop joint. Let me ask you this real quick. When you talk about you talked about some of these folks you performed with.
Wait, Kalonji, real quick, I just want to be clear. So you saying you had to battle, you had to show your skills in verse to get on the steps? Was that the
and to get everything? My brother made me battle him almost every day for anything and everything. And he's like 8 years older than me. So when my father was in prison, he's like a father figure to me. You know what I mean? Like when you're that much older than your younger siblings, you become like a father. I had to battle him for everything. I had to remember all the names of the Wu-Tang Clan and all the aliases. You know what I mean? Like he forced me to, and then once I got into a rap group,
you want this milk?
I had to go down to my,
What's Jesus' real name? You want this milk? What's it Jesus' real name?
No, it was really like that. And then when I went down to the 5 C's and I had to battle dudes down there, that ain't last very long because, you know, guys can't battle a girl without making it sexual. And then all the guys that I came there with, now it's about to be a whole fight. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stay home because, you know what I mean? They're not able to just deal with you on the lyric level. They got to tell you how they're going to bend you over too. And then it's like, somebody going to get hurt that night. So we fleeing the scene like I felt like I caused problems, so I'm gonna go and stay home. But no, I feel like a lot of new rappers, like they start rapping in their bedrooms, you know what I'm saying, on Instagram, and they have never had to battle anybody. They never had to have their feelings hurt. They never had to somebody just demolish their whole self-esteem, and you still got to get up and come back and battle again because you even more of a chump if you quit after being dissed like that. And then I ended up going on tour with the Roots, you know, when I was still a teenager. So having to keep up with Black Thought on stage, you have to level up. You gotta level up. He can go on forever. His breath control is so crazy. And I mean, at first I was just singing, but I was like, hey yo, I rap. Can I rap? I was so pressed to like be able to rap on stage. And then the first night I could rap with Black Thought, you know what I'm saying? And the crowd went crazy. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, I'm in here. And then so I'm like paying attention to him. I'm watching his body move, and I'm, you know what I mean, everything that he's doing to keep the crowd going. Cause sometimes we be overseas, these shows going for 3 hours sometimes. How does a rap show last 3 hours? How you rap for 3 hours? You know, so that kind of stuff, it really like trained me. It really trained me. And I really care about being a great MC. A lot of rappers don't care. They don't care about rap. They don't care about hip hop. They don't care about being great MCs. They want to have a hit single and buy some jewelry and, you know what I mean, do whatever else they have planned to do, but they don't really care about the art form. So like during the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? I'm like everybody else, you get a little sedentary. I know I got some shows coming up in August. So I had to get back with my trainer and rap and on a treadmill and try to get, you know, my breath control back up to where it was or beyond. So I cared. Like that's what I don't never stop trying to be better. Whatever last rap I wrote, that's trash now. I need to write a better rap. A lot of people live on their past. You know what I mean? James Collins, one of the people who told me that, he said, always make sure your future is shit on your past. Don't never keep living in your past about, oh yeah, I was dope. Remember 5 years ago when I did that. Nah, be better today. You shit on your yesterday, every day, keep shitting on yesterday. And so I took that really to heart. Whatever rhyme I'm gonna write today, it better be better than yesterday's. And I keep people around me that keep me sharp like that. I don't keep lame people around me. You know what I mean? I want you to challenge me to be better. I hate mediocrity.
But you mentioned you know, being on the treadmill and rapping, and I think that's just incredible, man. Because I be on the treadmill, I'll just be trying to breathe, much less a rap.
Man, I did on the one morning show. I did one Big Daddy Kane verse.
So anyway, so as I was saying, because we don't want to relive that. We don't want to relive that.
Listen, I was struggling when I went back in the gym 4 days ago. I was like, oh my God, this is bad.
But when you mentioned that when it comes to rhyming, but I just wanted to know what your process was in terms of, you know, because as singers, you know, I know you have to just, you know, people sing and we do scales and things like that, and you know, musicians do that just no matter what your instrument is, even if it's your voice. But what's your process like to rehearse? Because I don't think people think about singers as like rehearsing. Or rappers even rehearsing. Like, how do you keep yourself sharp? How do you help yourself to shit on, you know, your past?
I sing every day. I sing and I rap every day. There's never a time when I'm.
Is there how long? Like, is there a specific time, or you just?
If I'm not with my band, I don't have set rehearsal times by myself, but I do it all day long. It's involuntary at this point. I'll be like, I'll be listening to Lately Hathaway, right, and she'll have a crazy, stupid run. It'll get stuck in my mind. And I just keep it, especially if it's difficult for me. And I just keep doing it. I keep practicing all day long.
Can you sing 2 notes at the same time like she did?
No, sir. No, sir.
That was crazy.
I ain't got there yet.
You'll get there.
You know, I was going to ask you before Jared cut me off to talk about y'all battle rapping. I was going to, he's trying to relive his old school rap. I was going to ask you.
I'm telling you, I'm nice when nobody's around. I'm telling you.
Hey, in the shower rapping.
He's a legend in his own mind.
In his own mind. Yeah. You mentioned the Roots, right? And I know that one of the first joints I heard you on probably was Don't Feel Right. We know you got a Grammy nomination for that. How did that come about? Because of the fact that you don't just get down with the Roots. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know what I mean? They had everybody around them. I mean, like,
we were working in the same studio. So there was like a conglomerate of studios in this one building on Spring Garden in Calhoun. And
it's in Philly?
In Philly, yeah. So we was working on other stuff. And I would just go into their room just to kind of be a fly on the wall, you know. And I mean, Black Thought welcomed us in, you know what I mean? Like, he really liked our rap group. He was like, y'all are really dope, you know what I mean? So he's like, y'all can come through the studio when y'all want. So sometimes I would just come into the studio just to observe, just watch what, you know, they process. Amir had Questlove had a record room. He'll let me go into the record room and just listen to different records and just study. You know, I was like, I'm a student. I just want to learn. Teach me everything I can learn. And What's his name? Dice Raw called me into the studio one day and was just like, can you sing some parts? You know, I got this idea. Cause a lot of times he would put hooks and stuff and song topics, ideas together, sketches while they was on the road. Then they'd come back and, you know, he'd show them what they got. And if they like it, maybe they'll record it. And so he was like, you know, I got this idea. I want to pitch it to Tariq, see if he like it. And so I came by the studio and I was like tired and annoyed, frustrated that day. And I was like, all right, let me just come through. Because actually, you know what? For a very brief time, I ended up having to get a job. And because just the way the business arrangement was set up, they weren't really allowing us to perform or sell merchandise anymore. So I was like a little handicapped, you know. And so I had only ever been an entrepreneur, so now they wouldn't really let me be an entrepreneur, but I had to go get a job. And so I was like really upset about it. So I'm in the job folding clothes, still singing because I can't even help it. I do it, unknowingly. And people will walk by and say, man, you got a nice voice. You ever thought about being a singer? No. My whole goal in life was to fold clothes. That's what I'm into. And
no
so
disrespect,
I was like really frustrated one
no
day.
disrespect.
No disrespect, but I just was annoyed because I'm just like, I already know what I'm meant for, what I'm capable of, but I'm kind of like feeling like my hands is tied. And so I gotta just fold clothes right now. And they in there accusing me of selling my discount card and all types of stuff, just being all over the top. And so I was like real frustrated this day, and Dice called me. I came over to the studio. And he was like, can you sing this line? And so I just, don't feel right, don't feel right, don't feel like I can't feel it, don't feel it no more. I was like, yo, I feel that. It don't feel right. So I just recorded it as like a reference that they was going to get somebody else to recut, somebody more famous than me. And I left it alone. And
like they did what You Got Me with Jill Scott when she sang.
They had three more famous people come and recut the song. And it came back to me and was like, your version is the best version. So then they asked me if I wanted to go on tour to promote, because I was going to be the single. So I was like, heck yeah. I couldn't wait to tell my job, I quit, bitch. You know what I mean?
I'm going on tour with I told her in the audience, I told you, and you don't even have to name the names. I told you she was going to be seen as being as good or better than everybody out there. By the way, I will say this real quick, since you're talking about Philly and the roots. I was very happy because I did go down the rabbit hole last few months with some of those Jaguar Wright videos, and I was glad that I didn't hear your name come up. I was a little worried. But
they older than me. I know, but I'm just saying that stuff.
I'm just saying I didn't know. I wasn't sure what the timelines were. She seemed to be going back into some histories. I was like, oh no, please. And she was just going at a lot of people. I was like, please don't say poop. I was like,
no, I wasn't even around during that time. Yeah. And I'm a person that mind my business a whole lot. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I do my job. I go back to the hotel to go to sleep. I just always been like that. I'm an old lady. Like that's why my skin's so clear. You see this? I ain't got no foundation on. I mind my business. That's how I live. You know what I'm saying? Like
we ain't living.
We realize there's some youngins in the audience. You know what I'm saying? Because I see somebody just said, I didn't know she was on Don't Feel Right. Can you all give us a short discography? Because I know that you on Toby's new joint or Cyrock, some of these other
discography of what everybody I work with.
Yeah, some of the songs that you on. Just a few. I know you gotta
put the link in the show description. Somebody might have to do a little research. That's all. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just say people that y'all, Dead Prez, The Roots, Common. A lot of people don't know I was on the B album, the one that Kanye produced. That song that goes, how beautiful love can be on the streets. Love is hardest to me. Yeah. It's a place I got to be. Loving you is loving me. I think it's called God Is or Love Is. I think it's called Love Is.
Love Is. God Is Love or something like that.
That's when you do a lot of songs. You don't remember the title. Like I think it's called Don't Feel Right.
I can't remember. I worked with Odyssey. If y'all know Odyssey from DC.
Oh yeah.
You better. And people don't know Odyssey's a beast. Sorry about that.
Oh my God, he's an amazing rapper and an amazing businessman. I've learned a lot from him on a business tip too. I'll be sitting there picking his brain too, like, wait, hey, tell me how you did that. How'd that work? So what you gotta do first?
And
You know
his
what I
beats
mean?
are dope too.
Oh yeah, he's
And
produced
mhm.
2 songs for me. One song called Meet Me in Brazil, and another song called The Bloomin' on the Bloomin' album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked with Zap Mama.
Robert
Oh,
Glasper.
man. Robert Glasper. I can't remember. I look at my own bio, and I've toured with, so many. Dave Chappelle, Bruno Mars.
You were at the
Femi
the block
Kuti.
party. Sorry, Femi Kuti, the block party. I just want to say you were at Chappelle's block party.
Sting. Layla Hathaway.
So did you cross paths with Lisa Fisher?
I was just with her 2 days ago.
Wow.
Man.
We did a show in Cleveland together.
Wow.
Me, her, and Terry Lynn Carrington.
Oh wow.
The jazz drummer Terry Lynn.
Yeah.
I'm on her album too. She just got a Grammy nomination for that.
Wow.
We did together.
You were singing with Lisa Fisher. Is that on tape anywhere? You singing with Lisa
Somebody
Fisher?
probably in the audience probably got it.
Yeah, somebody in the audience. She's so sweet. I love her so much. We had never met before, and then when I walked into rehearsal, she was there. She just came and gave me a hug. I was like, I love you so much. You're so amazing. I'm such a big fan. I was like, what? It's so crazy though, because
musicians know good music. They know.
But I'm like, I can't see myself the way other people see me, So I still be like, you know what? When I was flying out here, the stewardess, when I was checking in online, she started freaking out when she saw my name on my ticket. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I'm such a big fan. And I was looking around, I was like, me? I was like, you know me? I was like, how do you know me? It's like, because you're famous. I was like, am I? I don't know. I was like, so how did you find out about me? And she's like losing it. I'm like, this is so strange. I was like,
but
okay.
but that says something about, first of all, just about you, because you're not promoted. You're not going to be promoted by the majors. You don't want to be promoted by the majors. I'm speaking for you, like I know it, but I kind of know you, so I kind of know you. That you don't want to be promoted by these people, but it says something about the power of the music, that like if you have a message, and of course if you have like monumental, once in a lifetime talent, that always helps just a little bit too, I guess. People are going to find you, and those are the real music. Those are the people that you want to find you. Those are the real people, because anybody will tell you. I know the business people tell you all the time. The people that you went to, they tell you that you need to find a tribe. You need to find your group, your audience, your core people, and those are your core people. So that's a salute to you, and being on message and staying consistent.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like I ever stood. It's not like I set out to be. It's not like I'm trying to be anti just for the hell of being anti. It's not like I don't want to be promoted. Like, hey, don't promote me. It's not that. But I'm very committed to what I feel like I was put here to do, what my assignment is. And I think if the people who are supposed to gravitate towards, those who have ears to hear, those who have eyes to see will see. And I do feel like the message is going to expand exponentially, because the world is ready for it in a way that they were not 15 years ago. They weren't ready for it. I've been saying the same shit I'm saying for a very long time. First time I ever got on stage, I was 4 years old. Me and my band, who would later become my bandmate in Series B, right? My first rap group. We had a group called Children of Liberation. We was 4 years old. So I've been saying the same thing, I've been saying for a long time. But the world is catching up, and there is an opening, a shift, a portal that's opening where people's consciousness, they being allowed to think, the veil is being lifted for some reason. And so they can hear me better than they could hear me before. And so I just remain consistent. And I believe if God is abundant, I'm always going to be taken care of. Like, I don't subscribe to the idea of a starving artist. I don't know that life. I'm a hustler. I was raised by hustlers. And so I'm always going to get money. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think I have to compromise anything to get money. That's my right already. God is already, that's my right to be taken care of and to live well, because I'm doing God's work, and I believe God take care of God's people. And so that's that. So I don't feel like this desperation to go into a system and beg for anything, because I've been taken care of. I'm not struggling, and I do what I want. like y'all mix what y'all like. I do what I like. And it, you know, whoever it works for, it works. And I think the fulfillment I get, because I always have to revisit my why. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? You know, because sometimes the music business be like really stressful, like intentionally. So I always have to revisit my why. And it really is about giving young women like myself options. You know, a young girl hit me the other day, and we still got to build. People hit me all the time about mentorship, but you know, she is looking to change her messaging, change her imaging, and you know, she's kind of raps like most other girls in the mainstream. And she said, "Man, when I saw you, I realized that I could do something different, and I just need help shaping what that could look like for me." That's a big deal. You know, when people tell me, "Hey, I use your music in my cancer treatment," or "I play your music for my students at school," and you know, give them an assignment to write based off. There's a curriculum in New York, in 400 schools in New York, called The Good Fight, and it's based on my song, The Good Fight. And you know, so it's this whole curriculum about social justice that's built out. That is the most fulfilling shit I feel like I could ever do with my life. I really love kids. I love seeing that light bulb click, turn on in their minds, you know, because I've had the option to just do music just for money, and it's not enough for me. It's not fulfilling enough for me. And especially because my abundance don't come from man. So what I look like doing man's bidding, and what I really want, man can't even give me. You don't have anything that's valuable enough to me. You get what I'm saying? And so, and my ancestors, they don't really play about me not doing my assignment. They keep me on task, for real, for real. So I'm at a place where I'm really grateful because I really get to do what I want. I wake up every day and I do what I want. I make the music that I want. Nobody tells me what to do. And my job is to just keep it excellent, because you can't say shit about it if it's excellent. I just keep it really, really excellent. And I keep my ear to the streets. I'll never lose touch, you know, of the people. I got a son, you know what I'm saying? So I stay in touch with him. He listens through all my music. What you think about this? He rates my songs. And I write about topics that I think are really important. Stevie Wonder is a person I feel like I always reference him because he has a song for every occasion, human emotion, feeling, you know, and I feel like rap is very limited these days. And maybe I feel like at one point, maybe in the 80s or 90s was probably more like, you know, more variety, but in the past 15, 20 years or something like that, it's not much variety, right? So I really take great joy in adding variety in concept and perspective, you know, because God has blessed me with perspective. I realize everybody don't have that because I have such historical context for everything that I'm doing and saying that it colors and shapes what I'm doing a little bit different. And you'll see tonight, we're releasing a new music video called North Star. It's going to be on Essence Music Festival is premiering it. It's me and D Smoke, produced by DJ Dummy. And this is one of my favorite artistic pieces that I'm giving to the world yet, because I was talking in the studio with D Smoke about it, and I was telling him, I said, you know, this world is so tricky. It'll make you think left is right, right is left, up is down, down is up, right? It's so confusing. And our kids, they don't know which way to go. They're hearing these adults push all this shit on them, acting like they're giving them options, but you're really indoctrinating them. Let them figure out what is what, right? And my son had been in, you know, I homeschool him, and then he wanted to go to a public school. So we tried out this public school, and I told him, I said, I had to give him the whole speech. I said, listen, 85% of everybody you're gonna meet, they are dumb, deaf, and blind. They can't do nothing about it. The 10%, they know, and they're gonna lead them astray for their financial gain. And the 5% are gonna be the righteous ones, the teachers. And you are going to be the minority. But don't feel alone. Be okay with being the minority. Know that you're the minority because you're the righteous ones, right? And the righteous road is a lonely one. And be okay with that you ain't gonna be like everybody else, and you don't want to be, because they are sheep being led to slaughter. And that's what it is. You got to decide where you want to be, what side of fence and side of history you want to be on, you know. And so we had these conversations. I know it's hard when you by yourself, right? See, I had a lot of siblings. I had 13 siblings.
Wow.
But when you walk in the path by yourself and everybody else doing the wildest of wild, most toxic things possible, and you sitting there trying to walk your path, you're the only one, people throwing stuff at you, calling you names, and you walking your path. So we started writing this song called The North Star. I said, your ancestors had to walk thousands of miles with just a star to guide them to freedom. And imagine somebody, you ask, hey, which way I go? They tell you this way. They tell you back to slavery. Go this way, go to that place, right? They try to lead you back into bondage, and you got to really use your intuition and talk to God. And you're using this compass. That's your moral compass right there. That North Star is your moral compass. And you're trying to figure out, what is my path? Where am I, how do I find my way to my higher self, right? To find my way back on whatever assignment God put me on before I came into this flesh. That's the path I got to stay on. All the rest of these people, they sub characters in this story, right? So anyway, so we start telling this story, and the chorus goes, baby, if you lose your way, it's only a prayer away. Your guiding light, your North Star is with you everywhere you are. Baby, if you lose your way, it's only a prayer away. Oh, hold on to your dreams. Remember that you're a king. So we said it in the 1800s. I'm gonna tell you, it was so hard finding. We had to find the right wardrobe, the right weapons, the right everything, that'll make horses, that'll really set it in that time period. Man, period pieces are hard to produce. So we were doing that, and so I started my piece. I'm talking to, so this is the dope part. So I got all these quilts, right? That was made, that told the story of the Underground Railroad. I'm sure y'all historians, y'all know about these quilt motifs that were a roadmap, and when you saw them hung, that was a safe house, and you knew where you were in the Underground Railroad and how much further you had to go. And that's the same thing, right? God gonna send you angels along the way to confirm where you at, or to say, yeah, you going the wrong way, you need to go here, right? And so in the video, I got these beautiful motifs that were, sewn with that in mind, with all of the same. There's a poem that describes all of the patchwork and explains how to get to the north. So I read the poem. I'm talking to my son, so the rap verse, I come in, I say, I always been different, spirit flowing through my ligaments, a thought-provoking type of lyricist, don't come with no health benefits. I was too good to be good enough. They hated that I made them level up, and I was just looking for a friend. Silly me, silly them with the illy pen. I've been killing men. What's a lost man's medicine? A real ass kind of reckoning. Petty me, petty them. The righteous road's a lonely one. The words I told my only son, the weak will fold and come undone. The strong will grow and lead them up. But what you do when no one agrees with you, huh? Can you still speak the truth with no amens and no cosigns and no praise hands and no post lines? Like everybody do the most now, huh? Trying to prove that they're woke now. May God give us discernment from the fake prophets and the posers. These days can't tell the same from the profane. Calling shit drip, chocolate rain. Everything's for sale. It's a damn shame. I've been woke so long, my eyelids swole. You couldn't know this road I'm on. I pray we make it home. My king, my son, my throne to carry on. Word bond. And the whole beat is in 6/8. I don't know if you can hear the rhythm.
Ours.
What's the name of this song?
Ours.
It's called North Star, and it's on my album Queen of Culture. I just released last Friday, Queen of Culture. But the music video is gonna drop on Essence tonight, and then it'll be up on YouTube by the morning.
First of all, I don't even want to. I have to risk this without the names being called. But please understand that this is the North Star we're talking about. I don't want to refer too far back in our conversation with Sister Rice, but this is the North Star we're talking about right now. And I'm looking for Kevin in the chat because I told you. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, do you have is there a line for you between singing and rapping? Like, because it seems like, because I was listening to you and even you were rhyming, but it was still, I could still hear
The melody.
The melody.
You know, I even rhyme in key.
Yeah, you do.
I can't like, to me, I can't not rhyme in key. Like it's funny because my producer, I recorded this song, and then he changed it. I guess the sample was a little bit off tune, so he ended up taking the sample out and having musicians play it. But now the key is raised, and I said I got to cut my verse off. He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm not in key." He said, "But you rapping." I said, "I rap in key." I can't take even hearing stuff be out of key like that. Like I'm cutting the whole thing over.
Yeah,
who told you to do that? I knew what I was doing. I rap in key of the bass drum. I'll figure out what key the bass drum is in, and my tone of my rap, I rap in keys to the bass drum.
How do you feel that affects like or enhances your sound? Like, do you, because people know that with rhyme with instruments, but people don't often think of the voice as an instrument, but it really is.
Yeah.
So how do you think that enhances it or influences it?
I don't know. I just do it because I don't like to hear it no other way. My ear is very sensitive. It's very sensitive. I can't even, like, when I'm mixing, like, that's why I went to audio engineering school. I started audio engineering school because I really got to mix for myself, because some of the things I hear, sometimes other people can't hear, and it just drives me crazy. And everybody will agree that they don't hear it, and I'll be like, it's so loud to me. So I have to
that's the spirits.
You have to learn the language in order to convey what you're hearing to them. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Kevin told me, I put it in the chat, but I got to say it out here. He said, okay, I see she's dope, but just stop with the comparisons. And I said, but you're not paying attention, because I said, if you listen to what I said at the beginning, I said there is no comparison, and that it is unjust to others to compare Maimouna to them. That's what I was saying. So that's what I was just trying to say. I told you.
Somebody said melodic rapping is basically the norm, but I don't know. That person probably not a musician. There's a difference. You can rap melodically and not rap in key.
Right. Yeah, that's different in key. Yeah.
Melody
just
in
means
key to the drums.
Yeah.
It's different from being in key to the drum versus being in key, with the bass line and then a lot of times a lot of producers are not musicians, and they create a lot of dissonant instrumentals. Yeah. I can't take it.
Because you have producers that just do beats. And
they'll fly in a sample that's not in key with this
doing
bass
beats
line.
don't necessarily make you a
other
musician.
synth sound that's not in key. I'm like, what is that? Wait.
But that's what made somebody like Dilla dope, because he was a musician and he understood music, and that's why his sound was just so deep.
They'll just auto tune you to try and like sync everything up.
Right.
But there's still so many nuances that auto tune can't capture because it's not real. You know what I mean? So many nuances and sheesh, I'm even trying to, and sometimes it's like auto tune can say, all right, this is the relative key, but sometimes that's not the appropriate expression. You know what I mean? And they can't know that. A software will not know that this this is the resonant frequency that we should build upon, not that. Like that's gonna take it into this other place that don't have no heart, no bottom, no we're gonna be right here. You know what I mean? Like even like raising the gate, how a lot of engineers are taught to engineer. It's like they start everything like take this frequency out, this frequency. All right, now start here, and it's like so cookie cutter. And to me, I'm always like, hey, don't put no effects on my voice. I don't want no flange. I don't want no auto tune. I don't want no melodyne. It's so many of those plugins to me that strip the soul away from my voice.
It's zombie music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know the difference. And if you never experienced it, you won't know. But when I sing a tone, I'm singing it because I know what I'm doing. And I sing it on purpose like that. Don't strip it away. But and then stack some other stuff onto it, because now it doesn't matter anymore. It's just a note. Before it was a spirit, and now it's just a note. And I don't want that. That ain't what I sang it the way I wanted to sing. Leave it like, you know what I mean? But it's, like now my producer, he really gets me. But at first he was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? No, I said, take that off. I don't want none of that.
You talking about DJ
He's one of my producers. Yeah.
Okay,
me and Tamir worked together for a long time. He gets me. But I mean, I work with a lot of producers, but he gets it now. When we are mixing together in the studio, he knows, like, he don't put no extra stuff on my voice.
I did want you to talk about Dummy a little bit though, because you worked with
Clearly,
Sorry,
he's not
go
a
ahead.
dummy because he gets her. So he
DJ
understands.
Dummy, the genius.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, I met Dummy. I think I was on tour with the Roots. He was on tour with Common. We did a Radio City Music Hall together in maybe like 2006. And, you know, we talked then about.
You just say Radio City Music Hall nonchalant.
Right.
Like it was
He just did that joint.
Magic City down the street or something. Like, we did Radio City Music Hall back in 2006. All right, listen.
We did.
He was on tour with Common. I was on tour with the Roots.
Yeah, I was with I was with Stevie Wonder.
That's another day in the park.
Jared.
Yeah, so he asked me to write some songs for Common, and so I wrote these songs and to submit for his album, and he ended up not using it. So I was like, look, can I use it? I'll just keep the songs for myself. So he was like, cool. And then he started a show called The Breakfast Club before The Breakfast Club was a thing, and he used to DJ. It was De La Soul platform. I think it was like something Ustream or no, what's it called? I can't think of it. It was like before people was doing the streaming and stuff like that. He was DJing on this, platform that De La Soul had, and I would be cooking breakfast while he was DJing. It's called The Breakfast Club, and people would give me recipes, and I'd be trying out different stuff. And so then when we started recording, one of the first songs that I wrote for Common that I ended up keeping for myself was called "Free as a Bird," and it was on my first EP, Black Magic Woman. And then we did in 2014, we ended up doing a mixtape together called The Reintroduction of Mumu Fresh. You can get that on my website. And and so then we talked about, I've been working with a bunch of different producers and, touring with different bands. I mean, I've been in every kind of band imaginable. I've been in Jewish bar mitzvah bands. I've been in Afrobeat bands, rock bands, jazz, big band jazz bands. Like I've been in so many different types of bands, right? But it's cool because it really expands, my knowledge. I got so many songs in my head, and it allows me, like, I learn music very easily now because I know so much music. So I can, most of the time, you kind of know what you hear, the chord progression. You like, all right, I know where this gonna go, and lyrically, I know where you're gonna land melodically. So I can hear it a couple times, like, okay, I know what this song is. And I could have just heard the song for the first time, but I know how to emote it. I know what lineage this song comes from. And so, so just make it easy for me to pick up music like that. So we talked about, like, why don't we just do an album together? And that's how the first Vintage Babies album came about. He was on tour with J. Cole. I was touring with Common. It's like we switched off, you know what I mean? He came with Common for like a second when I was there, and then he went out with J. Cole. And so we'd be off tour for like 2 weeks. We get in the studio, another 2 weeks. So we got together like in these 2 week increments, maybe 4 times. And we did the first Vintage Babies album that came out in 2017. And that's, Dummy my heart. I love Dummy. He my favorite DJ. He teaches my son to DJ.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever you mentioned a lot of people you work with, and as you were talking, as you were talking specifically about the effects in your voice and kind of having a certain sound that you wanted, it reminded me a lot of this dude right down the road from here, from Richmond, named Michael D'Angelo Archer.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know if you ever worked with him, or is he on your radar? Because I think, man, that would
I'm not familiar with him.
Oh,
yes,
you're not
you
familiar
are.
with him?
I am. You said I am.
D'Angelo.
Yeah, you are.
Dude,
D'Angelo, that's a real name.
You must say his whole government.
He said
I've only met
to
D'Angelo one time. We did a tour in Australia. Soul something. I can't think of the name of it. We did a tour in Australia one time together. That's the only time I met him. No. No, sorry. No, I met him again in Atlantic City because me and Chris Dave was working on some stuff, and Chris, was drumming with him. So I met him there too.
So, but that actually, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
But that actually dovetails with something I wanted to ask, like, because to me, obviously, I'm not, I don't have these people's talent. I'm not D'Angelo. I'm not J. Cole. But it seems to me when people come in contact with you in the industry, it would seem to me that they would be, why aren't more of them asking, like, how do they just pass by, meet you, hear you, see you work, and they're like, why isn't she on? Why isn't she?
The subtext is, do you get hate? Do you get haters? Are there haters of?
I don't know.
Maimouna Youssef. You see that?
I don't know. I don't acknowledge hate.
But I'm just saying, like, if I can't imagine that, like, if I'm thinking D'Angelo should do a track with you, and if I'm thinking I'd like to see J. Cole or whoever, like, why aren't they, like, how do they just pass through your orbit and somebody's not like, we got to put them together or at least invite you to do something with them?
So I think, for one, people living in their own worlds. You know what I'm saying? People are not always thinking like that. You pass by somebody in a backstage room and you don't know what their day was like. You don't know what type of anxieties they're going through. You know, you don't know if they're in a recording mode, period, if they ever want to record again. If they're, you know, artists are very moody and very emotional. We don't know where you meet a person that in a journey. Sometimes it just works and sometimes it don't. Sometimes they're not even thinking like that. The other thing is that, you know, I was in a singing background with Common. And so I probably sang with him for like 5 years. And one of the reasons I stopped singing backgrounds because I realized that people were putting me in a box of background singer, where it was like, you're not really a lead singer though. So I'll hire you to do backgrounds, but I won't collaborate with you. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I let you get the wrong idea about me. I just need to feed my son, but hold up. Let me go ahead and, you know what I mean? Because I had a child early. So I had to make sure I could feed my kid. Like, I wasn't going to take I took some risks, but you know, if I got a gig, like the Common gig was a really good gig. It allowed me to meet a lot of people who I now have followed back up with, like, yo, check out my project, or they've seen me on tour. I've just hustled. And I was building contacts at that time. So all the people, even though at that time, they were just looking at me as a background singer, I can circle back up because I got their phone number. You know what I mean? So I don't blame anybody. I feel like, you know, people moving how they moving at that time. You just don't never know where people's mind is at, what they thinking about. I mean, like, you know, when I met Ava DuVernay years ago, she was like, I want to do your first music video, you know, and I didn't have the right song for her. I was like, I can't waste this opportunity on a song that's not epic. Like, I got good songs, but they not like, I don't know that I have something that really that'll match her level of film ability. And so I was just like, give me a second. I need to write some more music, you know? And by the time I was like, I got the song for you, she was like working on Selma and didn't have time to do it, you know? And now Ava loves me. She invites me over her house. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I know we want to collaborate again at some point. And I know that she's seeing the things that I'm doing now. You know what I mean? She comments on my page and stuff like that. So I think all things in due time. Like, I don't feel like, oh man, you know, y'all passed me up. I feel like I had a lot of growing to do. Like, I was very talented, but my whole package was not together. You know what I'm saying? I was a young mom and really just trying to survive. So it's like, yeah, you see a young person who got a lot of talent, but there are not a lot of A&Rs who really want to do the work that it takes to bring raw talent into a package. And so I've done the work now that brings it into a package, into a business. Like, so now it's easy to buy into. And now those same people, I can reach out to, hey, yo, let me get a verse from you for my project. And they'll do it. You know, I don't even make the calls that often. I really don't even, I don't. It's a lot of things I'm sure I could get. It'd be easy enough for me to make a phone call. And I don't really do it. But
it's wild that you said that, because we had some industry A&R reps come to give presentation to our students a couple of years ago, and one of the things that they pointed out was that basically A&R work for them at this point is just scouring social media for somebody that's hot. They're not even listening to the work. They're just like, how many followers and spins and clicks are they getting? And, you know, so I'm like, so anyway.
And I mean, and I saw the difference even for me. Like, once I did the Tiny Desk, the verse I did went viral on Tiny Desk. And my fan base grew exponentially, like overnight. And I wasn't more talented that day, but they found out about it because now it was trending. And some of the same people that, you know, a lot of artists are like, what's in it for me, right? They want to make sure that having you be a part of their project is also going to bring them new fans. So while you might be talented, it might not be advantageous for them to have you on the record. For one, if you're going to out-rap them, that's never a good thing. And then for two, if you're not bringing them more light, more shine, more, you know, fans, then it's kind of like, well, what's in it for me, right? So once the Tiny Desk thing happened and I amassed a new fan base, definitely I had a lot more calls of people wanting to work with me who I've known for many years, you know. And I don't fault people, you know, everybody's trying to survive. Everybody trying to survive. They're trying to figure out what's the next wave, you know what I'm saying, how to stay relevant and blah, 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 blah. So I don't feel no type of way about that. But I really just keep my head down and do the work. Because I go back to my why. Why do I do this? All right, I want to leave a catalog. I don't do records because a lot of my friends, right, who I started out with, they quit doing music because they didn't feel like they got famous enough, and they feel like, you know, niggas hating on me and forget it. I ain't gonna do this no more. Well, what was that the reason you started?
How did it?
For niggas to pay you attention? You know what I mean? Because to me, then you're doing it wrong. So I think about, what do I want to leave the game with? I want to leave you with a roadmap back home. I got 10 more albums already mapped out because I know what I want to say is a curriculum. I have a curriculum in my albums, and you can study it when I'm gone. That's how I got it. That's how I look at it. And that keeps me in a peaceful place. I'm not, so that I don't have to be swayed one left or right, whether you pay attention or you don't, whether you give me accolades or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same poison. Praise and condemnation, they're equally as dangerous. It's better not to need either one of them, not to be moved by either one of them. So I really just,
you know, what you're saying reminds me. Years ago, I read Nina Simone's autobiography. I Put a Spell on You, and one of the things she said in there that just really stuck out to me, and it reminds me of you, and you saying what you're saying just reminds me. She said something along the lines that the music industry loves mediocre talent because they know that mediocre talent knows that they know at some level that they really don't deserve to be there. You know,
so they wouldn't do anything.
And they don't like people like you who are super talented because they know that you know your value, and you like basically would be like, you know, I'm out, and basically that you would do what you're doing right now, and what you're saying the whole time is just really just validating that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because for one, when you're a little more mediocre, you're willing to be like, so many times people want to like wipe me down like a chalkboard and remodel me, or like a piece of clay and rebuild me to their liking. And I'd be like, that's not what this is, you know. And it's more difficult with a person who already came built a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like in a particular trajectory. And it's harder to get them to do what you want them to do. It's hard to get them to bend to your will, to believe that they're worthless, because that's what they need to do. They got to strip you down first and tell you that you will be nothing without them. It's very much like an abusive relationship. A lot of the business relationships I've experienced in the music industry remind me of the times when I was studying at the House of Ruth. It's very, very closely related psychologically, how they have to strip you of any kind of feelings of self-worth so that you'll do what they tell you to do in order to be famous and to make them money. So I definitely have experienced that. When you do come with talent, for one, they expect you to be an asshole, and for a woman, you're automatically gonna be a bitch, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, and they expect you to be very arrogant. And for me, I'm confident. I'm not arrogant though, because God don't like arrogance. You know what I'm saying? And I don't play around with that. I feel like you lose your blessings when you think that it came from you. And it didn't. I've lost my voice before. I lost my voice for maybe like a year and a half. That's one of the most traumatizing experiences I ever had. But that joint humbled me, and it had me praying, and it had me, all right, God, so what you want me to do? What am I supposed to? And I started writing more than I was singing. You know, I went through a whole transition. That's when I decided that I was going to not sing in any bands anymore. I wasn't going to sing anyone else's music anymore. I was only going to sing the words that God was sending through me to sing. And that's why I told Common, I told everybody I was working with a whole bunch of people. I said, yo, I can't do this no more. I can't sing y'all words, because that's what God brought you here to do, but that's not what God brought me here to do. So I gotta move on. And I do think, I know that it takes time, but it's gonna be massive before it's all over. The message, because it has to be. That's the whole point why I came here, right? But I know God had to work on me. I shouldn't have had it when I was young. When I was 17, people was telling me, I'll make you the biggest star. It'd have killed me. It would have killed me, because I didn't have what I have now. I wasn't fortified. You know, like now it don't nothing move me, because I know what it's made out of. It's made out of fluff. Ain't nothing in that box. The box all dressed up. It got name brands and gold and diamonds on it. Ain't open the box, ain't shit in it. the bunch of newspapers. So because I know it already, I'll be like, no, I'm good.
Top 5 dead or alive, any genre. Since you out here fresh like me, you know, we need to know.
Don't insult the sister. Don't insult the guest, brother. Don't do that.
No, she like KRS said, I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you and I would add, just to add, like, if because I wanted to ask you about a bucket list. You mentioned Andre 3000, so maybe you could merge these lists, like, or of your top 5, but maybe people you would also want to work with that you haven't had a chance to yet. If there's any that you could.
Top 5 that are alive. Man, I mean, that's a lot. I just say like people who've influenced me a lot, you know, definitely Anita Simone, Donny Hathaway, Lauryn Hill, Andre 3000, and the RZA.
Oh, wow.
That works. That's a good one, actually. I like that list. That's a pretty good list.
Especially since you had to remember all Wu-Tang's names and birthdays and all
Yeah,
that.
but I love RZA. I love RZA. I mean,
Another cancer, by the way, y'all.
Raekwon,
just want to say.
Raekwon the Chef, Ghostface, man. I mean, they might my top 4.
What about them though? You mentioned Andre 3000, but what about them? What qualities in each of those people do you admire the most, or do you draw from the most?
RZA, you know, I was homeschooled. My mother used to let me use RZA's verses as English homework.
Wow.
I used to write down because he had so many words I didn't understand, you know. Micro-optic, microscopic, biological germ, Mal Carol Berkeley on the market, captain the starship. I never departed once I started. We be the line, you know what I mean? So I used to write down his verses and then go to the dictionary and then tell a definition, and then I would make my own sentence using that word that he used. Ghostface is just swag. Everything he say is just swaggy. It's just everything about him, you know what I'm saying? The strawberry kiwi wallabies. he just I mean, I never heard a ghost verse. I ain't like Raekwon, he like the definition of a real MC lyricist. Like, you gotta really break his stuff down and think about it. Like, he ain't gonna waste no words. So he got like the lyricism and the swag. And not to say, I mean, Ghost definitely got lyricism too. But I don't know. Raekwon is he like a missile. And then Meth got lyrics, but he more so he gonna make you feel good. He the party rapper. Like, everything he say gonna have a bounce to it. You're gonna remember it because it's so melodic and bouncy. You know what I mean? He had that ability to speak to everybody. If you wasn't the lyricist type that was gonna break it down and listen to it, you still would listen to Meth because he had that compatibility, marketability, palatable, very universal kind of sound. So I kind of like listen to what everybody was doing and what worked about them, you know, because Meth was definitely probably the more famous person in the group because he appealed so much to everybody. He was funny sometimes, you know what I mean? He was fine. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I like about him.
Like, you have some flashbacks. The chat want to know, they want us to ask you about your Standing Rock work and you know, your native heritage and everything. So
yeah.
Can you speak to that a little?
My mom is Choctaw. Well, her mom's side is Choctaw, her dad's side is Creek. She's still the blackest person I know. The thing about East Coast natives, right? If you're from the Southeast or even the Northeast, most native people, if you did not move to Oklahoma and Arkansas during the Trail of Tears, or even if you did, but you didn't stay there, if you came back to your land, they would have sold it already to a white person and reclassified you as colored. You couldn't stay on the East Coast if you were Indian. You had to be classified as colored. But there were a whole lot of people who are now black people who are indigenous, who were reclassified as colored so that they couldn't have access to their land. There are a lot of tribes that the government decided can't be a tribe, like the Nottoway. Nat Turner is Nottoway. The Nottoway are banned for being a tribe in Virginia. They're trying to get their federal status and be recognized or whatever that's about. But the government told them that you ain't a tribe. You can't be a tribe. We decided that you're not a tribe. And they sent a lot of them to the West Indies to disband them. They did that a lot of times. That's why this whole idea of who's federally recognized, are you a part, were you in a Dawes role? Like, that's such nonsense to me. Why are we allowing them to decide who we are again? You know what I mean? When they're the reason that we even have to say who we are, because they destroyed everybody's culture. So the thing is, I think people don't realize is that Native people were enslaved. I think people don't realize that. It wasn't just Africans who were brought to America that were enslaved. There were Native people who were enslaved here. Now, Native people that you'll find on the West Coast, right? The Sioux and the Shawnee and the Paiute and the Apache and the Comanche and the Navajo, right? They don't look like the East Coast natives. We had way more contact. We had contact with Africans 1,000 years ago. All of the East Coast and the South, we're brown people, and we were living in the sun a long time outside in the heat. We're not gonna look the same as natives in the Northwest who came across the Bering Strait. My grandmother told me we came up from the Yucatan Peninsula from the South. So I always understood that we were Choctaw, but you know, my grandmother was born, she was classified as colored. And every year the Census Bureau would change her race and all her siblings' races. They'd be black mulatto, white mulatto, Mexican, colored, this and that. Every year they'd be a different race. And they had Native American names, and they'd change their names and give them Christian names whenever they felt like it. The census is not a good record of who we are. You know what I mean? They decided who we were based on what they thought we should have, if we should have access to our land or not. So I grew up dancing in powwows. I used to compete in the powwows, and from the time I was 5 until I was 14, I supported my mother at her vision quest, supported my sister at her vision quest. I've been out to Sundance. Now, all those ceremonies were against the law until 1978. You could not pray in your native language. You could not go to the sweat lodge. You could not do Sundance. You couldn't do the ghost dance. You couldn't do the rain dance. All it was illegal. They had to march, you know, the longest walk. They went and fought to be able to have the right just to pray. Most people who lived on reservations, all their kids got sent to Indian boarding schools. Some of the last boarding schools closed in the 90s. There are people still on trial. Some of those priests are on trial right now, the ones that are still living for molesting and raping children. They just found 250 children that was murdered and buried at one of the boarding schools. They just found their bodies. Them schools closed in the 90s.
In Canada, right? You talking about? You talking about the ones up in Canada?
Right. Yeah, but they had them all over the United States.
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant, he coined that phrase, you know, because he was helping to establish those Indian residential schools. He said, we got to kill the Indian to save the man. If we can assimilate them and make them change, maybe they can be useful for something. Cut their head, forbid them to speak their language, the whole thing, right? So my mother and grandmother went back to relearn the culture once it was legal. They already knew they was Native, but you couldn't really talk about it because it was illegal, right? Like I said, in Virginia, there could be no Indians living in Virginia. So if you was Indian, you better be colored because you can't be Indian there. So a lot of my friends who, you know, identify as Black, they'll be like, I remember my grandma was Cherokee, but she ain't never want to talk about it. Damn right, you better not talk about it. Because you better not try to act like you got no rights to no land. You can't have no land around here. That's how gangster these white folks are. They just, you know what I mean, chucked us like that, took our land, like, and then you better not say you Indian, right? So anyways, I already knew I was, right? And because my family had gone back and learned the tradition. So I met a sister named Yanajaha at Harry Belafonte's festival, right? I went out to do a tour of all these prisons with Common and with Gina Belafonte to go,
no doubt.
Yeah, to minister and to this some brothers in prison all throughout Cali. So I met the sister Yanajaha, and she said, she walked up, she said, "You Native, ain't you?" I said, "Yes, I'm Choctaw." What you? She said, "I'm Ogalala." I said, "You know, oh, nice to meet you," right? And she said, "You know, we out in Standing Rock fighting." I said, "I know, I seen it." I said, "But I was waiting for an invitation because, you know, you don't just roll up on the bike reds and somebody got to invite you." So she said, "You know, I want to invite you to come out there and help us, you know, perform and help us raise money, the whole thing." So I went out, me and my mother and my auntie and my little cousins flew out to Standing Rock just to see what was going on, you know, and we performed there, and it was a life-changing experience. People talk about being on the front lines, but I honestly, I never seen some of the stuff I saw there. Like, it's haunting, you know what I mean? It'll change you for sure. There's still women who they drug in dog kennels. They put inside of dog kennels just for protesting, you know, protesting the right to have clean water.
Right.
Some of them, you know, Red Fawn is still in prison. And
Shout
they
out
charge
to
you with whatever they want to charge you with and keep you in there as long as they want to keep you in there. I mean, they were using like military war tactics, spraying chemicals on everybody with these drones. I mean, it was really, really intense.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some of the members of AIM, the American Indian Movement, on as well, because we do a lot of work with them, particularly around Black August on the West Coast. Definitely shout out to Yanaz Zahan. She's done a lot of work with us down here in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And speaking of Wu-Tang, she's Capadonna's ex-wife.
Right.
Yeah. Just a little Wu tidbit. But definitely, you know, these fights on all fronts are necessary, and it is imperative that we unite with brothers and sisters from all walks of life, especially when we're talking about indigenous people, because of the fact that you know, it's just like this whole thing around, you know, the ADOS movement. You know, this whole separation shit's not gonna equal a victory. You know what I mean? And that's not to diss anybody, but it's like, look, your 2-3 people and my 2-3 people, that shit ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have to unite, and you know.
But we just heard a level of nuance that explodes a lot of their argument anyway. So that's why so much of why I appreciate you, Maimouna, you know, the experience and the worldliness you bring in addition to all that talent. I mean, and there's this, we're in that level of nuance. There's some detail that gets washed away through some of these simple and imposed labels. So
and you illustrate to other artists, you know, what the possibilities can be, that you can still make a living, you can still contribute, you can still be a part of the struggle, and still be an organizer and do all of those things. I mean, you're traveling right now, so I mean, you case in point. I would love to know if this person that reached out to you, if this is a name that we know. The one artist that reached out to you.
No, I didn't know her name, so I don't know if you would know. She's a young girl. I think she's just kind of getting started. But it's a lot of younger artists that I mentor. I help them with any kind of business thing they're going through. Help them with reading contracts, everything like that, because it's important. And sometimes, you know, you have people around you and everybody just looking at you like a meal. Nobody got your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to figure out how they can up their percentage, no matter what it means for you long term. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna lose your publishing, your masters, your anything, like, and you know, and I was just telling her, like, you know, you got to make sure everybody is separate. You can't have the manager suggesting the lawyer. You can't have the distributor suggesting it. Everybody, they can't know each other ahead of time, and you got to really, you know, figure out if that person is really for you. Put them through tests to figure out, you know, where they loyalty lies and where their character and their code is as a human being. You know, because you can only expect people to be themselves. So you got to figure out, where are you at as a human being? What are you willing to not do? Like, well, you know, what would you sacrifice for your integrity? You know, so I'm always, you know, I like to help younger artists with that, so that hopefully they don't have to go through some of the lessons I learned the hard way, because that's what contracts are for. You ain't got to trust somebody when the writing is, you got it in the writing, the language is correct. We ain't even got to deal with trust, brother. We can go ahead and just go ahead and hash that out in the language, the legal language. But yeah, I really, I do want younger people to know that it can be done, because people told me I couldn't do everything I'm doing right now. I can't tell you how many times people told me it wasn't possible. You know, they told me I have to have a male cosign. They told me I couldn't be a mother and an artist. They told me I wouldn't make money if I didn't get naked. They told me I wouldn't, you know, I need to make something for the clubs and something for the streets. I need to make something for the strip club. I ain't never done none of it. And I have not missed a meal. Okay. You know what I'm saying? My son done traveled all over the world having a good old time. Like, he lives well. And I ain't never had to do none of that. But it's really about my consciousness. It's because what I believe is possible. That's what I really be wanting to impress upon people. The game is what it is. And if you subscribe to it, then that's the reality that you got to live with. You know what I mean? I was telling my son, right? One of my good friends, love her to death. She was telling him, you know, you got to go to school. You got to get this kind of grades. So then you can get a good job. And if you get a good job after 30 years, then you can, you know, get you a nice, you know, retirement plan. You know, and she telling, he said, man, you know, and I got to figure out how to do that. I said, hey, listen, she's right for her reality. That's not my reality. I ain't never lived like that. And I make more money. You know what I'm saying? I never lived like that. But it's about my belief system, what I believe I deserve, because the universe will respond to what you believe about yourself. That's just, it has to, it does. And so we got to check ourselves, because sometimes we got subconscious beliefs that are in direct conflict with what our conscious belief is. You can't have what you don't believe you deserve. You just can't have it. And so if we're speaking about this thing, but subconsciously we're sending out these other vibrations, then we find ourselves fighting with ourselves. And then it's no forward movement. You just kind of stay stagnant because you won't propel yourself forward with your thoughts. That is how you move forward with your thoughts. And when you do that, when you realize that, you got so much more freedom. Now it's not about what the label will or won't let you do, about what America will or won't let you do, about what racism will or won't let you do. It's not about that no more. It's about, I'm a higher being. I'm higher than racism. I'm a higher being. And so I can propel myself forward with my thoughts. It's just about what I can allow myself to believe. And that's why they spend so much time indoctrinating children in school to hate themselves and believe what they can't do. That's why they spend so much time in the media with music and movies, dumbing down your ability to create and manifest with your third eye. That's why they do that. Because if your third eye was free, the rest of these conversations wouldn't even matter. You'd already know. You'd be flying by now. Real talk. Real talk. So that's what I be trying to impress upon people. So it's like I've had to learn a lot of hard lessons in the music industry because I needed to survive long enough to be here in this moment to tell you what I'm telling you and cut away a pathway that didn't exist. I cut away a path that other girls gonna be able to walk through for me. Because as much as I got a lot of heroes that I love, ain't none of them ever do it by themselves. They never did it independent. They ain't never do it with a baby on their back. They ain't never do it talking like I'm talking and being a boss, putting their own money up. They never did it. They ain't never do it without a cosign. They ain't never do it without they didn't. So I'm cutting away a path that, you know what I'm saying? They ain't never do it with their clothes on. I'm cutting away a path. And I take that on the chin. And so whatever comes with that, I'm gonna take that because I know I'm built for it. Everybody not built for it, but I'm built for it. And it's gonna be better because I did it, you know.
Show here civilizing the 85ers, letting y'all know that the devil's a conniver. Nah, I mean, it's going down. I almost thought I was on a remix morning show about to catch the Holy Ghost over here.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was thinking. Going evangelist on top of it.
Like, oh my, you know.
No, I'm getting texts. I'm getting texts. People talk about I'm flying right now. People, you know, I'm in the clouds. They are. This is
above the clouds.
Above the clouds.
Yeah,
above the clouds.
We started the show. She is a rap god. I'm saying. I said again. I told you.
Where can y'all get this besides BPM? I'm talking about we had Cornell West, Samaria Rice, and now we have Mumu Fresh, like back to back. I ain't even ready for that. I don't even know if we should give them any more programming today. Might just shut y'all down or let y'all slide out.
We have really overdone it. I did want to quickly, I know we really stretched. I'm sure your time, but I did want to quickly mention that I hope I didn't miss it. Of all the good work you've done, you've also have done work specific to the moment and the times. I mean, you've done your Say Her Name, your Sandra Bland. I mean, you've really you have stood out with your work.
Monsanto,
Monsanto. All that. I remember all of that.
Let me just speak to that too, right? Because I'm very cautious about. Sometimes publications will reach out to me and ask me, like, do you have anything about like police brutality? Mm-hmm. That shit irritates me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not what I'm here for. That's not every time a headline comes in the news, I'm like, let me write about it so I can have a moment. Like I hate when I see artists trying to catch a wave on somebody's pain. Like that really, really irritates me. So I don't write about anything unless I'm called to write about it by the Spirit. It ain't about what's, you know what I mean? Like when I wrote the song for Sandra Bland, I was workshopping that song for like 3 years. I kept rewriting it, trying to, you know, and I was singing out and I'd be like, it's okay, but it ain't what it needs to be. It's not invoking the right emotion. It's not taking us there. Like I need us to go somewhere on a journey when I do this. I rewrote it so many times and finally I got it to a place and I played it. I don't even know where I was when I played it, but I know that moment when me and my guitar player, we did this one piece and we were so high up. Everybody was high. Like we had to end the show after that. It was like, that wasn't even the last song, but it was like this last song for us, you know? And I was like, okay, we're there. And I had to pray about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had spiritual situations that happened that confirmed or let me know how I was supposed to be moving. And when I was moving in the wrong way, okay, all right, okay. You know what I mean? I'm learning certain lessons. And I found, so maybe 2018. So maybe I wrote it. I don't know. I had written it maybe I wrote it in 2016 or something like that. But I was, in 2018, I performed it on the Tiny Desk. And yeah, it was a high vibration that day. And Sandra Bland's mom, she called me at like 4 a.m. one night. It was just like, is this Mumu Fresh? And I could tell she was an older woman because I'm raised right. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, this is Sandy's mom. And I was like, huh? She was like, this is Sandra Bland's mom. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, hi, peace. Hey, please, mama, how you feeling? You know? And I was like, how she get my number? She said, I put an APB out on you. I need to find you. Because it was Sandy's, you know, the anniversary of her passing. And I know we didn't even plan that at all. Like the thing happened to come out on the anniversary of her passing. And, you know, her mom was like, I almost got through the day without crying. And I saw your Tiny Desk. I said, I'm sorry, mom, I make you cry. She said, no, it's fine. But I need you to come see me now. I said, yes, ma'am. You tell me where you at. I'm gonna fly out there. We can sit down, you know, because it needs to be authentic. Like it don't need like, I hate when people do that. Like it irritates me so bad. When I, you know what I mean? When I see people like,
and on the other
about that, I don't write when people ask me to. When people like write about whoever, you know what I mean? So many write about no. If God tell me to do it, if I feel divinely inspired, I'll do it. Other than that, I'm not doing it because I'm not a what do you call it? My friend got a good name. He called it trauma porn. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, not a trauma whore. Like, no, it's like if God say do it for the right reasons, and that's it. And it ain't. Other than that, I'd be like, you should be afraid for your soul. You should be afraid.
This is so on point right now, seeing we just had Samaria Rice on because of the fact that this is exactly what she was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just articulated it in a way that not only the artists, the quote unquote freedom fighters and the activists and all these cats should have, like you said, like it says in the Quran, if you feel no shame, then do as you please, as the Prophet Muhammad talked about. You have to be able to have some type of shame, some type of something inside of you that tells you, look, this some bullshit, and I really can't just live my life stepping out on the scene like this, man. So definitely appreciate you saying that. That's refreshing because of the fact that even though you didn't reach out to her, you did the right thing. I didn't even know how to find her. I didn't know she would know who I was. Yeah. And even I performed it another time at a bigger place, and I called her to make sure she was okay with it. I said, I want to make sure that you feel okay with me performing this song in big platforms. If that's okay with you. And she was like, no. She said, I want you to sing it, sing it. You should remind them. I said, because if you ever feel like I shouldn't sing it, I will not. You tell me not to do it and I won't never do it again. Sure.
So she didn't have to go on Instagram talking about, I need to talk to Mumu Fresh after 5 years of her running around. It was none of that.
No, I love her like my own mother. She called me and, Spirit be talking to her because she called me one time. I was so sick. I was in the Middle East having hallucinations. I was really, really sick. I don't know what happened, but I was very sick. And she came to me and called me and gave me some advice about what I need to do. And she didn't even know, we hadn't even talked. She didn't know where I was in the world. I said, so she divinely connected. And, I look at her as one of my spirit guides. And I call her mama when she called me, like, yes,
That's
mama,
deep.
whatever she say.
That's deep because you did something to heal her, and then she turned around and did the same thing to you. So you kind of planted that seed.
Yeah, I listened to it when she called me.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep.
So we've been trying to get you on Renegade Culture for like 8 years. So this is sufficient right now. So we good, even though we didn't exist for 8 years. But definitely glad, man, to witness the spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we've always seen each other in passing. I think the first time I met you might have been at Stick's birthday party down here in Atlanta.
Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Yeah. And then from there, I think the last time I saw you is actually my birthday, and Cyrock, David Banner, and a few other folks were performing, and you just pulled up. So
I love Cyrock. That's my sis.
Yeah, and
everybody keeps saying like, why y'all never collaborate? People have this narrative that they want to believe that like female rappers are like secretly angry with each other all the time. And I feel like, what? That's my girl. Me, Rhapsody, like, you know what I mean? Cyrock.
And you're on a new album, right? You're on Cyrock's new joint, right?
We've collaborated before though.
Okay,
me and Rhapsody got a song together. We actually have not released a song we did together though.
No, not Rhapsody, Cyrock. I'm talking about.
No,
not on Cyrock's new album.
Lettucey's on there.
Let is on it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but we have a song together though. For sure.
I'm confusing the Toby joint. You that you on that video is bananas, man. If y'all haven't seen that, what's the name of the? Is it Tundra Fire? What's the name?
Tundra Fire. Have you heard Salam Remy's album?
I haven't heard it yet. I haven't even seen Salam Remy.
Are you on it?
Jerry, you ever heard Salam Remy's album? Oh, y'all sleeping.
Are you on it?
Man.
Yes, I'm on. I'm on like 3 joints on there.
What?
Now we got
right now.
Me, I'm on the track with me, Busta Rhymes, Black Thought, Dougie Fresh is on one. I can't believe y'all missed that. What?
Yo.
And then I got another.
I don't know if I can hear that. I don't know if I can take it.
It's called Black on Purpose is the name of the album.
Okay.
This is another joint called I'm on the first track and I'm on the last track, and then we do one in the middle, like this like a children's song kind of.
Let us hear it. We want to listen to make sure that it's worth purchasing. Can you hit a couple notes for us real quick?
Yeah, one of the
This is my Jerry.
Do you want to hear the song, the singing part, or the rapping part?
I mean, whatever you're gonna give us.
Yes.
The rapping part?
Yeah, both.
All right, the singing part. Well, one of my favorite songs is called "Tear It Down." You remember last year when they was like tearing down all of the different monuments? It was this one video that I watched that like made me cry, like overwhelmingly. I was like, man, why can't I stop crying? And it just the song goes, every monument, every edifice, we gonna tear it down, every brick of it, and let the river wash away the blood on it. Tear it down, 'cause we come too far to turn back now. The change is here, the change is now. We gonna tear it down, we gonna tear it down, tear it down. Every monument, every statue, every pillar of your race's values, we gonna tear it down, we gonna tear it down, we gonna tear it down. I lift his chin and look my son in the eyes. I say I fight for you to the day that I die. I swear I'll fight for you. I'll make this right for you. Do what I gotta do. To break every chain, say their names until we see the change. We gotta be the change. Yes, we the change. Gotta tear it down. Gotta tear it down.
And listen, we about to go start the revolution now.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all gotta hear mess with that one. And the joint with Dougie Fresh and Black Thought.
Busta Rhymes. You said Black Thought or Busta Rhymes.
So first open with Busta, then it's Black Thought, then it's me, then it's Dougie
No
Fresh.
Peace. That's the name of the track.
You got the privilege to be colorblind. I can never not see color lines. No color signs written on the front door. Now they let you in, but then abuse you for it. And if you try to call a spade, they taking all your funding away. That's how they play. When they do drugs, they the victim. But if you do drugs, you're getting booked through the system. When they kids act up in school, they see the principal. When my kid act up, we down at the municipal as criminal. How black kids are never seen as children. That's why we grow up too fast, becoming victims. Over sexualizers say we wanted the attention. Don't nobody want to listen. I can't remember the whole verse. You gotta listen to it though.
Listen, that is man. That's man. Listen, man. That's
like I said, it's not fair.
Hey, freedom right in the building.
It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah, I gotta check
Oh,
that
peace
out.
to Freedom Writer. Yeah. What's
Peace,
up, my
bro?
man? Yeah. See him in the building. Absolutely.
Freedom Writer is the ambassador of the music of the Mooniverse, just so y'all know.
Absolutely. Black on purpose. Hey, listen, I don't want to be the one that I don't want to be the one to end anything, but I just want to
check out this hotel though.
I do definitely appreciate that you came through. Biggest fan, biggest supporter. Anytime you want another spot or a platform or need another whatever outlet, just want to come on through and say a little bit. You always welcome here.
And by the way,
make sure y'all play the records. Make sure y'all.
By the way, I'm working on the record right now, Mumu. Just so you know.
Okay.
So you might get a, you know what I'm saying. We need to do a little something.
You got my number.
We won't be playing Kabas though. We will be playing.
Oh,
it'll be in rotation.
That's why I got to get you on the record. That's why I got to get you on the record. So I can play on Black Power Media.
Oh, okay.
Well, look, Maimouna Youssef, the link to your work is in the show description. We encourage people, if they haven't already, please follow up. And like I said, peace to you, to your family, to the whole crew.
Thank you.
Can't wait to catch up to you, see your next show live. We have to find you in August.
Yeah.
And, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Salute. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Take care.
Peace. Yes.
All right, everybody. Hey, listen here. Kalonji, you said it. We have more than hit the high mark on BPM this week. I think we've raised an already enormously high standard.
That's right.
With Brother Kaba coming through, with Mumu Fresh coming through, with Samaria Rice coming through, with Cornell West coming. I mean, we, and on top of already just the Remix Morning Show and all the other good stuff that we've all been doing. So anyway, I appreciate you both, and everybody in the audience has been great.
Excellent interview yesterday, by the way. I think I said it before, but it was an excellent interview, man. And like y'all pushed him just right, ask him challenging questions, and I think he enjoyed it because he does. I don't think I don't know because I don't do as many interviews as him, but I'm sure he probably gets kind of tired of just saying the same old stuff over and over again in interviews. So it's kind of good for somebody like himself who is an intellectual to be able to, because when you get pushed, you got to kind of expand. And even Kalonji asked a good question that had him thinking. Like he had to think about it. Like I was like, okay, this is definitely one for the books. I mean, we got the supermoon, and then the last supermoon of the year, and then we got Kalonji asking actually an actual good question that made sense. So I was like, look, I mean, this is on point. So Black Power Media, man, much power, much respect.
Those of you that don't know, I've been knowing Kaba too long. I'm not even gonna say how long. It's just been too damn long. But that's my brother.
Well, the brother I was talking about before that I was saying that I couldn't believe people were listening to him. It was actually Kalonji. By the way, just for anybody, just in case y'all didn't know, it was actually Kalonji.
Yeah, I like how he tried to beat me to the punch, right? That's okay, Kaba, because guess what? I got a whole nother show coming up tonight called Renegade Culture. So you ain't got to worry about it. I will show you love, my brother.
I know you will, my brother.
And that's at 9 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, we'll be back live with Eastern time. Thank you. We'll be back at 9 o'clock Eastern for Renegade Culture, 7 o'clock Eastern for the live special season conclusion of The Last Dope Intellectual with Dr. CBS. And I'll be there. Maybe Dr. Brown. I'm not sure who else will be there, but definitely come on through and make sure you're there for that. And then, of course, on Monday afternoon, you are invited and on the rare occasion encouraged to leave BPM for a couple of hours and check out Jazz of Justice, the African Deep Thought edition with Brother Kaba. Okay. Did you tell us what's coming up? Do you already know what's coming up on Monday?
Yeah, I'm gonna be talking with Brother Kalechi Agwem, it's a brother here in the community, talking about Africa and repatriation what to look out for. He's actually originally from Nigeria, but he works in the community as well here in DC. So we're going to talk about repatriation, what it might look like, and some of the things that we can actually do to help the continent to become, to make Tamaga, to make Africa great again.
Tamaga.
Hey, one quick thing too, man. We are less than 500 subscribers away from hitting the 10,000 mark on Black Power Media as far as our YouTube channel. So we like 400 and some change. So do us a favor and make sure, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you hit it up. You know what I'm saying? Support our Patreon. And also make sure that you tell a friend, because of the fact that we want to bring you more programming. And we actually have some dynamite guests that we're working on right now to add to
well, I'm already here. I'm already here.
Yeah, we took a setback today. However, it's glad that Samaria,
a setback is a setup for a comeback.
Man, look here, man. When I logged on, I saw Kaba name. I started to call Jared and say, how low can you go? I mean, like, for crying out loud, Kaba and Kalonji in the same space. We just don't do that. I mean, that's just illegal.
Popular demand.
Yeah, thanks. Whoever demanded this,
I want my money back.
Hey, I don't know whether Cornell and I on the same scene or you and I is worse. I don't know. I'm just confused. You know what I'm saying? Either one of them, just, you know, it works that way, I guess. But definitely we appreciate you all support as far as Black Power Media. Thank you, Jared, for inviting us on. I mix what I like.
Oh, of course,
you know
of course. I
didn't know I was gonna be on all this goddamn time, but it's cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we didn't know how things were going to work this morning, but you know, I know. First of all, we didn't even get to it as in the way that I thought we might, but because I know both of you, you know, and we've talked about it separately and can come back and do it another time. But because of both of your interaction with the music industry, I would, you know, that was, you know, never mind the politics. I was very interested in having you both join this conversation with Maimouna to give that, you know, added perspective. We didn't get to that as much as I might have thought, but because there's just so much greatness to get to.
Well, you know, real quick,
you know,
I thought about this when she was talking about, you know, having this contrived creativity. We're around, well, let me profit off of somebody's pain right now. She's already written songs about all the things that the people are asking her about.
That's right.
But just from an entertainment side, I've been in spaces where, you know, like a media company will be like, something will happen and, oh, we got to respond. What are we going to play? And it's like the same old stuff. They want to play Common. They want to play Self-Destruction. They want to play. And I'm like, first of all, there's several other artists out there, you know, right, who are making music right now that's relevant to this. Oh, well, who are they? And I tell them, I never heard of them. I'm like, well, that's why I never. How come you never bring it? I'm not going to bring it up because I know y'all not going to play it, you know, because they're not on, you know, because I know how it works in the industry. So yeah, it was.
And the same thing happens journalistically and academically, by the way. I
Yeah.
mean, people, they reach out, oh, such and such happened, you know, why don't you write a piece for, not me, but other people, they're like, why don't you write a piece for such and such? And then they can get the hot piece that is supposed to be speaking to the struggle or to the moment. And in many ways, I think it's something similar. And we've seen the same thing, by the way, where journalists and academics who don't have a track record of talking about police violence or this or that or that or this are now all of a sudden getting some prominence for being associated with these histories and struggles when there's no background, but because a prominent publisher or other outlet said, you know, why don't you get in the mix, so to speak. So
I love the ones who invite you to speak and tell you what you can't say and all that.
Right.
You know, whatever you tell me I can't say, you can guess.
I'm leading off with that.
Your black ass. You know what I'm saying? At one time, Cat tried to pass me a note talking about 5 minutes because of the fact that you know, I was going too hard and I cut into the joint. So I was like, yeah, I spent 10 minutes talking about the 5-minute note that this cat passed. Like, dude, you must be out your damn mind. I didn't even want to show up to this shit. You know what I'm saying? You kept calling me to come up here, and now I'm here. I don't believe, and that's the beauty of what we have here at Black Power Media. It is nothing like having your own platform. It's nothing like being able to say what you feel freely. You know what I'm saying? No matter who it offends, because some of the shit I say, I offend my goddamn self. So you know what I got for you if I offend me. So anyway, definitely appreciate you all on all levels, all the folks in the chat, and you know, my comrades over here. Freaking
Freaking frack. Oh, Lord. Well, look, we'll be back. If I'm not mistaken, let me just take a quick check here because there's so much stuff happening on the channel.
Are you talking to his?
Is he talking to?
I was saying that it's time to go anyway because I've been on here with Kalonji too long and my reputation is already taken away.
So let me just let folks know that like I said, tonight at 7 is Last Open Intellectual, 9 o'clock Renegade Culture. Sunday at 11 a.m. we're going to have an All African People's Revolutionary Party tribute to Kwame Ture. So please come on back for
Cancer
that.
in the building.
Wow. Yeah, this is just a mess.
Cat right here, man.
This is just a mess.
RZA, Cancer in the building.
Yeah, this is just a mess. Please do go back and check out the interview done yesterday with Doctors Sundiata Chajua and Scott Brown. Of course, the work we did.
Scott
with
Brown's a cancer.
Oh my God!
I don't know that. I don't know that.
I was about to say this can't be. This is ridiculous. Yeah. But
after this,
he
probably
is.
He's dope, my fingernails mess with you or something. But anyway.
Another dope musician, though. By the way,
he's a cancer. Yeah, definitely, he's a cancer.
Oh, he must be then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll be back Monday for another edition of I Mix What I Like Live, and then of course Tuesday starts the Monday of the Remix Morning Show. Back again with everybody. So. Peace to everybody if you're willing to fight for it. Like Fred said, thanks to all of you for sticking around with us all morning, our guests and my co-hosts as well. And we'll catch you next time here at Black Power Media. Peace, everybody.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.